What's up? So, you drinking Mr. PP. Dr. Pepper, yeah, Mr. PP. That's what it would be like. So, in this stream, Sura and Rash taste when I wanna be on their channel once, not because like I want their attention or anything. It's just more like I just wanna be Joey the anime man. But so basically in this stream, we're gonna see this one video abroad in Japan uploaded the other day. A lot of you guys have been asking me like if that's true or not. But by the way, I have a question. Did you guys watch the video, by the way? No, I'm actually gonna be kind of like be this in this stream because this is gonna be like just educational rather than me doing stupid things. No, yes, I have not. Yes, I haven't watched it yet. You did because so you kind of saw it already. So, if you're here for like entertainment, that's not what I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna probably just like write it down too. So this is gonna be just like for the people who want to learn about Japan. Because, I mean, I can just be a troll and I can just do stupid stuff, but, some people are legitimately curious if abroad in Japan actually stated, like, truth or not. And I haven't seen it yet. So, I'm gonna see it, and I'm gonna actually talk about, whether if it's real or not, from my perspective as well. Yeah, so the thing about it is like there's like this gap between what non-Japanese people see and what we see, right? So, okay, sure. So, if you're here for like me being stupid, me screaming pee-pee, I'm not gonna really do that today. I'm gonna actually see his video and talk about whether it's actually true or not, and if there are like any misinformation, then as think I bet you last an hour. That sounds really inappropriate, but thank you so much for the donation. Food is real. Food is real. Let me talk about it too. Oh, and by the way, Abroad in Japan's like one of my favorite YouTubers as well. I think I mentioned this before, but like what is it? So if I were a girl, I would definitely simp for Abroad in Japan for I'm not really sure like why. I really cannot talk about why, but if I were a girl, like I would definitely simp for Abroad in Japan. And I would even like follow his Twitter account and everything, which is something I never do. And now I said that, so a lot of people are gonna hear. A lot of people here are gonna say something like "Sora's gay," but I mean, whatever. It's like already what happens. Don't lie, you simp for him already. Not really though. Levan X, thank you. Just simp for him anyway. I mean, I think we did a stream. I did a stream like where I legit simped for Chris Broad, saying like Chris is handsome, blah 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 blah. But I mean, I was gonna be in a troll like at the time, so alright. So the biggest lie about Japan. Let me just change the language to English. It's okay to come out. Alright then, I'm gay. I'm gay. What is the biggest lie about Japan that everyone
What
thinks
is the biggest lie about Japan?
Thank you, Gojibot. Here's some lunch money. Thank you so much for the donation. I actually spent freaking $10 for the food today, so yeah.
But everyone thinks is true.
Do you prefer UK or US English? Neither. I prefer like generalized English. So both. I don't just go for like one. I mean, I grew up in Japan, right? So, and Brussels, thank you. Moving to Osaka soon. Thank you so much for the donation. Osaka is actually the best place for non-Japanese people to visit, like even live. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually happy for you. Because Tokyo's not really the best place for a lot of people, because...
A bold question, but one of my...
How do you spell color, then? Without a... U?
Afraid I'm too busy to answer. You see, I'm on my way to a sumo match in my flying car with my robot best friend. Oh god. And we're running frighteningly late because somebody ate too much sushi, didn't you, eh? What you like? Yeah, not quite. Truth is, nobody actually watches sumo wrestling in real life. And even if I wanted...
Do you guys actually watch sumo wrestling? 日本はアメリカ式英語を習えるからアメリカ式英語が好きだと思いました。自分ちょっと特殊な環境だったので、アメリカ式の英語になんかアメリカの英語を喋ろうと思ってないというか、なんだろうな、ちょっと難しいんですけど。No, do you? So, sumo wrestling, we call it sumo, but some of us watch sumo, but if you watch sumo, that's kind of like you like to watch table tennis matches, or like even tennis matches. Some people like it. It's not like everybody likes watching it, right? It's kind of like some people likes to watch boxing matches, but some don't. It's kind of like that. So I don't know if you guys actually believe that like everybody watches sumo wrestling in Japan or not, but we don't. Some do. It's like people who watch badminton. Yeah, that's kind of like that too. So I mean, this is not really shocking or anything. So. But yeah, I mean, Chris actually made a great point on this. And Gojibot, thank you. Watch Paolo in Japan next. I'm not sure if I want to do that in this stream or not, but I mean, if there's a dimension. Black Sheep 2000, thank you so much. Are you 22 years old now? And so as a trip, as always, and love the content you bring. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm not really doing anything special in this stream, but
because I can't get the damn fax machine working, and I certainly can't book the tickets on this outdated flip phone with a web browser from your nightmares. Meanwhile, this so-called robot from the future does nothing of conceivable value other than dance like a moron. Worst 4,000 yen I've ever spent. God's sake.
If you go to Akihabara, Tokyo, you see a lot of stuff like this. I went to this like barbecue place the other day and I saw it, right? Natto wa dou omoimasu ka? What do you think about natto? I personally don't like it. And what do you think about poop? I like it, yes.
You know, I've often found there's a pretty big disconnect between how Japan is perceived outside of the country and what it's actually like living here. Certainly in the UK, Japan has...
Yes, 4,000 yen, not dollars. So like $40.
Nothing makes sense. You know, I'll never forget the first time I saw Japan featured in a film as a kid in the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice. An entire Bond movie set in Japan in 1967, which spent the majority of its runtime portraying the country as this alien, cutting-edge land where people spend their days sumo wrestling and an army of women were constantly on hand to give you a back rub.
I've never seen Japan from like this perspective, but is it really what you guys think like what Japan's like, by the way? Is this true, Sora? I mean, I'm curious. No, maybe. Not at all. Maybe this is like what people thought like a while ago, but now people freaking watch YouTube and people watch anime, so yeah, I mean, you know what? So this is not what people think, you know, what Japan's like now. But people probably think Japan's like this. Like this, right? Yes, one will tell me. No, because the thing about it is like this is pretty accurate. I'm not trolling, by the way. And thank you, S. Your fans would think it's like anime cause weeb. The thing about it is like this is actually accurate though. If you come to Japan, like there are so many girls like who actually look like this. I mean, it's real. Like seriously, this is like what I'm used to seeing. I'm Japanese, right? In terms of like their looks, yeah, right. But I don't know like much about this anime, but I'm not sure if what they do is based on like what happens in Japan. But based on like what they look like, yes, this is real. Yes, really, yes. This is like legitimately what they look like, and this is nothing special. Like seriously, you see a lot of girls like wearing uniform like this, and it's real. It's nothing like weird or like whatever. So it's just how it is.
Now, in hindsight, the movie doesn't hold up to a lot of scrutiny, particularly in one scene when 007 needs to become Japanese. Quite literally, which pretty much involves taping his eyes up.
Thank you, Black Sheep. As a Korean who grew up as an American, I never thought of Japan weirdly. I have watched a crap ton of anime. Thank you so much for that. I feel like I'm just stupid, but if you grew up like watching a lot of Japanese anime, then I feel like you have some like interesting thoughts about Japan, but I'm not really sure.
Upwards and strapping on a dodgy wig.
S. You don't know. You don't know. Wait, S. Wait. Right side skirts are obviously exaggerated. No. Seriously. This is normal. This is normal. If you wear a skirt like this, you are considered a nerd. Like, you don't wear a skirt like this. A lot of girls freaking actually shorten their skirts. Like, it's just what we did when we were back in school. I mean, I didn't do it because I'm a guy, right? Yes, I'm nerd, yeah. So, I'm not lying. If they have to wear his skirt really that short, yes, like, shorter is better. Like, that's just like what girls think, like, it was. The thing about it is, alright, so let me show you. 女子高生. Alright, so I'm Googling, like, high school girl skirt on Google. So I really hope, like, I don't get any inappropriate pictures. So I'm gonna freaking just hide my screen for a bit. Yeah, it's real. Like, this is still kind of long for some girls. This. When I was back in school, I didn't wear a skirt, no. When I was back in school, like, it was, so there was like this competition where like all the girls like freaking tries to shorten their skirt, right? That's long, yes, that's long for some girls. I remember, it's like, so, you know why Japan, like Japanese people have a thing for panties? Do you know why? And I used to freaking make jokes about panties everywhere too, right? You know why though? Because of that. Like, freaking Japanese people wear like a short skirt. That's really short. I mean, that's sort of long. Like, some people freaking like legitimately show their panties because it's supposed to be sexy. It's supposed to be hot. So girls do it, yes. So that's why, like, there's like this term called 絶対領域. Are you American? Yes, I'm Australian. iClips rather troll, thank you. What do you think about gyarus? I mean, I basically grew up in a generation like where when gyarus were actually a thing, right? My opinion, I don't really know. I don't really have any opinions. Like, I kind of believe in like people can just do whatever they want to do as long as it's not illegal or anything. So, but yeah, here, this is, yes, true. Like, it's nothing weird. Like, see? See? There's like even the comparison of like, what it's like in each area. So this is like Tokyo pretty much, yeah. And this is what it's like in Hokkaido and Osaka, Hiroshima, Fukuoka, whatever. But, so. And thank you, Black Sheep. Even chopstick culture is different between China, Korea, and Japan. I noticed it when I visited Korea. Koreans have like metal chopsticks. We have like a wooden ones.
And they do it all in a room that's a cross between an operating theatre and a Hooters. And the transformation is, well, nothing short of astonishing. But while Bond was turning Japanese in the 1960s, Japan was at the forefront of global consumer electronics. And with the bullet train going into service in 1964 between Tokyo and Osaka, it's no wonder the country...
Isn't Osaka famous for using long skirts in school? I'm not from there, so I'm not sure. Maybe.
It's time, right? You know, I mean, while the bullet train was rocketing to Tokyo at 137 miles per hour, over in the UK we were still riding around on a steam train up until 1968. As Japan's economy soared at breakneck speed through the 1970s and 1980s, there was a sense of anxiety building in the West that Japan would become the undisputed...
Does Chris speak Japanese? I'm pretty sure he does. 'Cause, I mean, I've been watching his channel for a while, right? And I feel like you cannot really live like him without knowing any Japanese. If you ask me, like, is he 100% fluent? Does he really sound Japanese? I'm gonna say no, but like that doesn't matter. I mean, when he's British, like he doesn't have to sound 100% Japanese, right? Which is what some people try to do. When you are not Japanese, if you are not Japanese, don't even try to sound Japanese. I mean, why do you have to lose your uniqueness, right? The thing about it is yes, you might be jealous of the people who speak Japanese fluently, but you have your own uniqueness and attractiveness if you speak Japanese in your own way. I think it's the same for speaking English as well, right? I mean, if I freaking actually sound American, try to sound American, I don't really think I would still have the same uniqueness as I do right now. So that's so nice. It's not me being nice. It's from my experience. If you try to speak Japanese 100% like Japanese people, you will lose your uniqueness. People will usually think you're cute for speaking Japanese like you do. It's the same in any languages. So that's kind of why people think my accent is unique and different, because I don't really try to sound any people basically. Because I'm not, from any of those countries. I'm from Japan, so I can just be this. But you're American. Yeah, I'm American. Yeah, right. So.
Superpower of the future.
And that's kind of why I say some words differently from some people. Americans say this is a one thing meme on my channel for a while, but a lot of people in America say apparently. But I don't say it like that. I say it apparently, but...
Perhaps unsurprising, given that in
And I'm not even trying to sound British or anything, by the way.
1989, of the world's biggest 50 companies by market capitalization, 32 of them.
All the people saying oh, Sora is American because he speaks English. You guys are old memes.
Were Japanese. But then in
living memes.
1991, the economic bubble burst and absolutely crushed the nation's confidence, becoming known as the Lost Decade. And today, only one Japanese company, Toyota, is on that list of the world's biggest 50 companies. In reality, and in stark contrast to the futuristic image that the country has sort of fostered overseas, if you were to shoot a movie set in a 1980s Japanese office, you'd barely need to change anything today. If you were to go in and shoot, right, you'd remove some laptops for sure, but you could leave the fax machines, you could leave the mountains of paper, and it wouldn't be uncommon.
I recently heard about it from a friend of mine that lives in Japan. Is this weird? An office looking like this? With a lot of fax machines and a lot of papers? Have you ever worked in an office? No, and yes, kind of partially, but should I say no? Yes, that looks ancient. So it's a mess. Yeah, it's really like this, and it's been like this for 30 something years. Yeah, it's been the same. So You see like fax machines, you see like a lot of like old stuff still. The main reasons just basically because like those old people still are not used to like using new technology yet. So the funny thing about it is like when I was a teacher, like about a while ago, a lot of people there didn't know how to use computers. So like, this is actually hilarious, but yes, thank you. I have literally never seen offices like this until I moved to Japan, and what you are showing is most of them here. Yeah, right. So basically, a lot of people in Japan still like don't know how to use computers yet, right? So the funny thing about it was like, so there was like this one lady who didn't know how to freaking log in to like a Yahoo account or something. And I was like, dude, Google Yahoo and click on login or something. Then just like just put your password in. And she was like, how do I Google Yahoo? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I just did it. And yeah, they were like, they're basically like American boomers, yes. But like, in terms of like their knowledge, Japanese people are a lot worse. It's insane. I mean, you guys, like, especially Americans out there, might think Americans have like worse knowledge when it comes down to like tech stuff, but no, Japanese people are like a lot worse, especially when it comes down to like tech stuff. So like, for example, the biggest cultural shock I've ever had in Japan when talking to Americans was like, what was it? So those are the groups who are still using kantan keitai. They still probably do. Oh yeah, like so. Would it surprise you if I told you guys that if you go to like clinics in Japan, they still have papers instead of like data on computers? They don't do that in Japan. They still freaking keep papers instead of like data on a computer. Like they freaking don't even use a computer and just keep their data there. They freaking have like papers instead. So that is a nightmare. Yeah. So no way. Yeah, I mean it's like that. It's legitimately like that. Can you explain why? I don't know. I don't work there. So they still file papers. Yeah, yes, that's what we do. They are required to keep both in California. We just only freaking just keep papers only. Maybe like they started actually like having more data on their computers, but if you go to like any clinics, like especially local ones, they freaking just like keep papers only. It's actually hilarious. That's something like normal for me, but that's something really surprising for Americans is like what I heard. So, and thank you, Anna Portela. An image I have of Japan based on Japanese people I met is basically Japan is Tokyo and the rest is Inaka. Is that accurate, or were the Japanese I met just weird? Yeah, they were just weird, cause like I'm in Chiba, right? I'm in Chiba, and so if you watch my streams, I usually just like go outside and freaking be stupid and just like troll, but I do that in Chiba, right? So, but I kind of get what they were saying. What you see in movies, what you think of Japan is pretty much like Tokyo, probably. But still, Tokyo Disneyland is located in Chiba as well. So, I mean,
common to see staff using these flip phones, literally kantan keitai, simple phones in Japan, because 7% of the country's population still use these. Now,
that's actually true too.
I've got nothing against using old technology. I think it's kind of cool that Japan is quite conservative and they still use things like this that we forgot about sort of 15 years ago. But the truth about Japan's relationship with technology is a little bit more complicated than that. And so in this video, let's peel back the layers and explore some of the biggest misconceptions about...
And thank you, S. Temp agencies advertise that their temps can use a computer when offering temps to companies for a contract. It's a premium skill. It sounds like a meme, but it's actually true, yeah. Benji Hyanen, thank you. Sora, have you ever met any Japanese singers or bands? Yes. Like Radwimps? No. Or Masaki Suda? No. I've met some people, yes. I'm not gonna just name them, because I feel like I shouldn't, but I've met some of them, yes. And Paul S. Rawbach, thank you. My grandfather's 87, uses an iPhone and trades stocks online. Not all old people are bad with technology. I mean, but your grandfather is not Japanese. Like, that's what I have to tell you. Your grandfather is not Japanese. If your grandfather is like Japanese living in Japan, like you'd freaking have a still like foldable phone. And I'm not memeing yet. Like I'm actually like freaking serious about this, by the way. Like seriously, just go to Japan and talk to any like old people. They legitimately don't know what an iPhone is. So
Japan overall. We'll cover everything from food and fax machines to cultural etiquette. And hopefully, by the end of this video, we'll have
I'm curious about something.
From food and fax machines to cultural...
Is this weird, by the way? Getting a name card. Why is Chris mentioning this in this video? Is it that weird? Not really? For some people, yes. For some people, no, huh? Never had one in my life. I have a question then. If you get a name card, what do you do to it? After that, after getting one. Like, what do you do? What do you do? Tell me. Process between different areas, okay? Just keep it in the wallet. Put it in the wallet. Put it in your back pocket. Okay, so it's kind of like the same, because like what we do is, yeah, we just like basically put it in our wallet and just keep it for a while. Like that's what I did too. As thank you business card equals Meiji culture. It's the Bowen. I feel like you know much more about this than I do, but okay, but thank you so much for the donation. And Paul is Rawba. I actually want to know how to pronounce your name like properly. The importance Japanese place on business cards is weird, but cards are common. Okay. There's like something like that's just weird about this, and like people usually talk about this like everywhere, but I don't know like what's different like outside of Japan. So
cultural etiquette, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll have a...
I was in Japan 2017. It felt like I was in the year 2000 with fax and paperwork. Yes, it's freaking really weird and like stupid. A lot of people in Japan still like use papers for contracts and like checking stuff, and I sometimes feel like people in Japan don't know what a computer is, probably, so they still like have to stick to like papers instead, but I don't know. And Katazaki, thank you. Good evening, mate. How's it going? It's going great. How about you? And thank you so much for the donation, by the way.
More accurate picture of what life in Japan is really like compared to how it's perceived and viewed overseas, particularly in the media. Yes, hello, is that 1987? Yeah, I've got your fax machine.
Why do Japanese people still like use fax machines? But why though? Is it not willingness to change? I don't know. It's more like my honest opinion is, what's a fax machine? You can Google it. Is it safer? I don't know. I doubt it's safer. Security and convenience. How is it like safe though if you use a fax machine? You missed my donation. Really? Oh. I don't know if I want to watch this one, but thank you so much for the donation. I think I can just check it for a bit, because I really don't want to just like start talking about something different. I love McDonald's. I'm loving it. Is it you? I love McDonald's. Because that shirt is like... But yeah, thank you so much for that. Is it you?
I love Japanese snacks, so much so I've made short work of these tasty, delicious rice crackers. Although, to be fair, the main reason I bought them was actually the kind English words on the front here, which sound like the words of a concerned grandmother. You look busy these days, my dear. Take care.
In America, when we get something new, we just throw the old thing away. I imagine Japanese businesses are more reluctant to just trash something that works just because there's a new thing. You look busy these days, oh my dear. Take care of yourself. I hope you live well with love. PSMS.
Care of yourself. I hope you live well with love, peace, and rice.
Let me show you guys something hilarious. I actually made a community post about this like the other day, like a while ago, but I found this one interesting English. But I can show you guys like everything actually. So I think I showed you guys this before, right? And Pref915, thank you. Hello, I would love to visit. I would love to visit Japan. Is it cheaper to live over there compared to the U.S.? Because I would love to drive a Supra over there. So a lot of people who don't live in Japan say it's expensive to live in Japan. A lot of people who live in Japan say it's cheaper in Japan. One of my closest American friends has been saying it's much cheaper to live in Japan because the insurance stuff, and Japan's way cheaper. Probably you live in Japan, right? Judy Shinohara, I'm guessing. People say that it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper as long as it's not Tokyo. Yes, that. Exactly that. Exactly. If you live in Tokyo, I mean, it's kind of like, is it cheaper to live in the States? But, you know, there are like different states and like different places. And especially if you live in California, then it's going to be like, boom, expensive, right? But Japan's way cheaper as long as you live in the Inaka places, like countryside. I kind of doubt it. As long as it's not Tokyo, everything will be cheap. Like, Chiba. Let me actually explain something. Never mind. So, should I? So basically, here. This is what Japan's like, right? So Tokyo's like right here. Right here, right? If you live in this area, it's gonna be insanely expensive, yes. It's gonna be expensive. Because, I mean, think about it. If you live in California, it's gonna be expensive, right? But if you live in freaking like Oklahoma and whatever, it's gonna be cheap. It's kind of like that. Same in the Philippines. In some areas, it's freaking expensive. But if you live in like whatever places, and like it's kind of cheap, right? So as long as you are not in Tokyo, it will be fine. The Kanto region. No, Chiba's freaking cheap too, by the way. It's right next to Tokyo, but freaking the cost of living will be half the price. It's not even like half the price. It's like 20% of the price, like, compares to Tokyo. I mean, that's kind of why I was able to freaking buy a house here in Chiba, because it's cheap. Like, seriously. It's cheap for what we can get. And so 房数はめちゃくちゃ安い。マジで本当に安いですよ。And then still like we can go to Tokyo in like freaking 40 minutes. Not even like 40 minutes, it's like 30 minutes actually by train. And thank you, as anyone who wants to drive cool older Japanese cars is gonna be so disappointed. Cost is skyrocketing because parts are getting rare. I think everybody knows about this now, but yeah, well, thank you so much for the donation. And Portela, I once compared the living costs of Hiroshima because it's the same size as my city. It's cheaper. Yes, it's cheaper because Hiroshima is like freaking here, right? This is Hiroshima, right? It's far from Tokyo. So if you don't live in Tokyo, it's cheap. Like, that's just how it goes. How much is gas there? If it's not in Tokyo, it's cheap. 1 square liter meter for gas in my area is like $3, if that makes any sense. And I think it's cheap. And that's LP gas? LP? Is it called LP? Propane? But yeah. So it's just like that. And what was I talking about? Oh, here. LPG, yeah. So, as to what I was talking about, Chris showing this, right? Propane, yeah. So I think it's cheaper. Maybe. LPG, yeah. That's just what I use in my area, so. And in Japan, seriously, you see English shoe like this. Let me actually make it big here. Black man super bikini. A man has freedom as a man. It is dream love and everything else. Black man is pursuing it forever. Black man makes you to be free. It is a nice taste. Like, so it makes no sense. And this English shoe just doesn't make sense at all, right? But when we see it, when Japanese people see it, like, our reactions like automatically like, oh, that's so cool, like there's some English letters written on it. This has to be some top-notch thing, because it's in English. English, it's so cool. Exactly like how it goes. Like, that's just how it goes. So, well, it kind of does hold up. This is so wrong. For Japanese people, it's not wrong. It's just like, it's so cool. Like, look at this. Like, see? Isn't it so cool? I mean, it's kind of like what weebs do, though. Like, weebs freaking just write Japanese, like, characters on their thing, and they go like, isn't it cool? Right? We think it's weird, but it's the same thing. So, hey, that's what we think about Japanese. Yeah, I mean, exactly, like, that's just what we do here.
Ah, yes, the big three. Love, peace, and rice. Yeah. It's a relatively healthy snack, relative to potato chips or crisps. Of course, most Japanese food is healthy, nutritious, and fantastic. Right? Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world, and amongst the lowest rates of obesity to match. And I think before I came to Japan, I just assumed I'd move here, adopt the Japanese diet and lifestyle, and just sort of effortlessly lose weight. Yeah, not quite.
Do you guys believe this is actually what happens? So, I have a lot of like interesting stories about this. Coming to Japan means you lose weight. Yes or no, tell me. No? Yes? No? Technically, let me tell you something hilarious. This is not true, but this is also true at the same time. So, it's actually hilarious, right? There was like this one American person who came to Japan, and I was friends with him like back in school, like back in university when I was like 20, so like freaking 10 years ago, right? And this guy came to Japan, right? And he's like, oh, I heard Japanese food is really healthy, so I can just eat whatever I want to eat and I will still lose weight. And he freaking started eating this, right? Like a lot. Katsudon. And if you look at it, I don't really think this is healthy, like at all. Like, this is like a lot of oil, pork, fried pork, by the way, and a lot of rice. So how is this healthy compared to like the food they have in the States, right? This is not healthy. I mean, I guess it's still good. It tastes great. But still, if you eat this a lot, I don't really think you can lose weight, right? That guy still lost a lot of weight. And I was like, what the hell? How did he do it? And he was like, you know what, dude? Japanese food is healthy, bro. I told you. And I was like, yeah, right, but how did you actually lose your weight, like, while living in Japan, eating stuff like that? And he was like, I told you, like, compared to what we eat in the States, it's freaking... Yeah, I mean, Lemon, you guessed it right. He probably lost it from walking around so much, yes. So this is like what it's like in Japan, right? Here, world map. Let me show you. So there's like this one interesting thing about that. So this is America, right? This is Canada. Those countries are freaking huge. And look at Japan. So small. Japan's so small. And thank you, Breath915. Bro, you rock and funny as F. I don't think I'm funny, but thank you. Keep up the good work. If you want to know something interesting, look up Heaven's Gate. Okay, but thank you so much for the donation. But I don't really think I'm funny, but yeah. So Japan's like that small, right? And then again, Tokyo's this size, and a lot of foreigners, as in like non-Japanese people, come to Tokyo because Tokyo is like what they know, right? Then it's so small that there are buses and trains are everywhere. And then what people do is like, oh, we don't need a car to go anywhere, so I can freaking take buses and trains everywhere. But to get on trains and buses, you have to walk around, right? You still like have to walk. And you don't really notice it while being in Japan. And thank you so much for the donation, Kuchiki Kombi. Let me just talk about this. So if you get on trains and like buses, you still like have to walk around, right? You don't really notice it because you feel like you're just like, you know, getting on trains to go to places. But in reality, you walk a lot. You walk a lot. That's kind of why I'm kind of thin as well, though I freaking eat stupid stuff and I've been streaming eating some unhealthy stuff in Japan. That's the magic here. So, and that's kind of why people in Japan are healthy and people in Japan are thin. It's because of how much we walk. It's not the food we eat here. And Kuchiki Kombi, thank you. Hello, Sora. I can finally donate to you. Thank you so much for that. Even just a little bit. It's actually a lot though. To be honest with you, like, so you just gave me $5, and let me tell you, like, $5 is like still like seriously a lot, in my honest opinion. But thank you so much. Thank you for using my art in your Monster Hunter video from 2019. Your video. Oh, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, your videos and streams helped me during my first years of college. I hope you are well and may good things come your way. I remember you, by the way. Yeah, I remember you. I honestly didn't think like you still watch my channel. Humble King. I'm not really being humble. Like, think about it. $5. If you have like $5, you can actually survive for like freaking a week. At least in my case, I can actually survive for a week, like food wise. Like if I try super hard. Like it's that a lot. If you actually think about it. So. Kuchiki Kombi. I remember you, by the way. Yeah, I remember you. I mean, I remember you. So, but thank you so much for the donation. I don't know what to say, but thank you so much.
If you read a guidebook about Japan, there's always a chapter on the Japanese diet and how people here live forever because they eat a fish. And to be fair, if you look at what people eat at home, it's a relatively well-balanced meal comprised of fish, rice, miso soup, and various pickled vegetables. On the surface, it's fairly nutritional, but if you take a closer look, there is an awful lot of sodium and carbohydrates. That's something we'll get into in a little bit. But while Japan guidebooks brag about the healthy lifestyles,
you know what? I'm like literally when Chris is talking about healthy diet, I'm drinking this as a Japanese person like who lives in Japan, right? So
Japanese. What they don't tell you is when you go out for lunch or dinner, that well-balanced goodness quickly goes out the window.
That's true. No one eats that. People still do. People still do. I mean, I used to eat it like when I was with like my mom and my family. But yeah, I suddenly started eating curry a lot more because do you still use your bike to cycle places even though you have a car now? I actually threw away my bicycles because I don't really ride them anymore. But I still play VR table tennis every day, so old people eat that there. I think still young people eat that too because...
So let's take a look at 10 of the most popular dishes in Japan and try and work out if they're genuinely healthy or not. And let's start with sushi, perhaps the most famous. I bought this here for illustrative.
Some people told me コーラを飲んでいる人は緑茶にするだけで全然香りよ。緑茶健康的。コーラを飲んでいる人はコーラが好きなのであって、カフェインが好きなわけではないと思うんですよ。なので、多分変わるというよりかは、多分コーラを飲むことはやめないと思うんですよね。っていう個人的な。And Paul S. Raba, I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Dr. Pepper is healthy. It's got doctor right in the name. True, it has to be healthy. It's got like 20, 30 different flavors. Over 20 fruit flavors. Oh my gosh, this has to be so healthy. But thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
For purposes, I won't be eating it, but I might eat this one like this.
Pretty good. Oh, that's so good. Illustrative purposes.
I think one of the biggest
How much is like sushi like this in where you guys are from? Because there's a supermarket in my area, and if I were to get sushi like this, it will be 5 to 6. Around 50. God damn. 700 yen. Yeah, 700 is kind of cheap. But in my area, it's like extremely cheap. So it's like, yeah, 5 to 6. So like there's this one supermarket that sells like some amazing sushi for like cheap prices, and I can get it for like 6. The other day, I got something like this for $3. I was like, dude, please. Wait, I got it for $3, and I was like, okay.
That's so good. Illustrative purposes.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about Japan is that people actually eat sushi like every.
The reason why it's freaking cheap in my area is because I'm in Chiba, right? There's freaking like fish everywhere around the prefecture, so they can just get like fish everywhere. Was it rotten? No, it was not rotten. So that's kind of why it's cheap, because they don't have to like put a lot of effort in getting fish
every day or every week, when in reality it's probably closer to once or twice a month. And while it's undeniable that the fish itself
Tokyo sushi is not that cheap. If you go to an actual restaurant,
each
yes.
portion is essentially 2/3 rice that's infused with rice vinegar, sugar and salt, making it a deceptively carb-heavy dish. I mean, if you have a full plate, there's probably a lot more rice than you realise.
And Solar Daisy, thank you. Do you think wanting to go to Japan by yourself is a safe thing, or should you bring a partner with? If you mean like, if you're like worried about Japan being safe or not, then I don't know where you're from. If you're from the States, and if you're from like, let's say, Compton and whatever, then yeah, I mean, it's gonna be freaking 1,000 times more safe here, 1,000 times safer here. And you're not Queen, thank you. In my country, sushi is so freaking expensive. Yeah, probably. It's just really cheap in my area too. But yeah, so Solar, in Japan, seriously, you don't have to worry about like Japan being dangerous like at all, like to the point like where you don't just do anything. You can be a girl and you can freaking walk outside at 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m. You can even a 3-year-old kid and freaking walk outside like at 3 a.m. and 2 a.m. Like nothing's gonna still like happen to you. I mean, nothing still like happened to me when I did that, when I was like 12 and freaking went out like at 1 a.m. And I freaking left a bicycle without locking it for a week, and the bicycle was still there. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why would nobody steal it? Because it was actually a great bicycle. Maybe not that good, but it was like freaking, $500. So, but yeah. And thank you, Paul R.S. Roba. I still like want to know how to pronounce your name. Depends on the meat and whether you get it at a restaurant or grocery store. Many places in America, you can only get sushi at a restaurant more dollars. It's the same in Japan? Actually, no. It becomes cheaper in Japan if you go to like sushi restaurants. 500 is cheap. Yes, like if you are into bicycles, it's cheap. But what I mean is like if there's like an unlocked bicycle that's for $500, why would you not steal it and just sell it right away? Is my point. I mean, if you were into bicycles, like yeah, there are a lot of like bicycles that are like $10,000 that are like $5,000. Yes, like there are bicycles like that. But what I mean is like, it's unlocked and it's freaking light. Why wouldn't you steal it and just sell it? アメリカのラーメン1000円以上で高すぎる。高いらしいっすね。行ったことないですけど、聞いたことありますよ。そう。But that's what I mean. I'm like, why don't you steal it? The most surprising thing you can experience in Japan is like when you see a wallet on the street, some people freaking just like try to take it to a police station saying like, oh, I found a wallet. And I mean, as a Japanese guy I'm so used to it, right? But I recently started thinking about it from like a non-Japanese person's perspective. I mean, I'm Japanese, but still, I tried to think about it from like a non. I just tried to like analyze what it's like from a non-Japanese person's perspective. Though I'm Japanese, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't you just steal it? Right. So it's kind of that safe in Japan. And guns are not allowed, so you don't really have guns. Some people just like realize they can make guns themselves. And Paul S. Rarba, you say my name better than most Americans. Thank you so much for the donation. So there are no guns, so you don't have to worry about it. There are knives, but people freaking don't use knives. And there aren't a lot of crazy drivers here, so you don't have to worry about that either. What you have to worry about the most is not you getting assaulted by random people, but what you have to worry about is you being a foreigner in Japan, so people think that you are a criminal. Like, that's what you have to worry about, by the way. You can get arrested for being a foreigner in Japan if you don't like carry a passport, or like this one thing called zairyu card, like gaijin card. That's what it's like. So stop worrying about whether Japan is a dangerous place or not. Start worrying about whether you're being dangerous or not. TF, yes, it's like that, seriously. That's sexist, no. And it's not actually like Japanese people like being racist either. It's like there's like this one wall between Japanese people and foreigners. It's not that we discriminate some people for their races, like for their countries, one thing. It's that we have like this wall between Japanese people and non-Japanese people. Like that's just how it goes. If you're not Japanese, there's like this slight wall. So why do they think foreigners are criminals? Technically, it's not that people think you're a criminal. It's that police officers will try to stop you if you're a foreigner. Because like there are a lot of like illegal immigrants here in Japan, and police officers like have to find if they are still here or not. So that's just kind of why it is, basically. So you don't have to be kind of that worried about Japan being dangerous, but you have to worry about you getting arrested by some police officers for being a foreigner. Like, that's kind of sad, but that's just like how it goes. Like, seriously, I have like a lot of friends here in Japan, and they all went through some stuff like this. But still, yeah. If you know any, if you have like any Japanese friends, non-Japanese people, by the way, what I mean is that if you have any friends that live in Japan who are not Japanese, ask them. They probably all experienced this one thing where they felt like a criminal because they don't have a zairyu card, gaijin card. So, what if you look Asian? It's the same thing. It's the same thing as soon as you start speaking a language that's not Japanese, then the police officer might try to kind of like go after you, because yeah. So I have luckily never have been stopped by the police here. It's because you're Asian, and it's because you probably speak Japanese really well or something. So, but if you're not Japanese and if you go outside without a gaijin card, then there's gonna be some problems. And as thank you, I called the police once because I saw a fight, and they asked me what country I'm from. Like, how is that relevant? It looks like a meme comment, but it seriously happens. Everybody, it happens. So it's not that like Japanese police officers are trying to like blame you or anything, but they have to make sure first, right? They have to make sure. But in S's case, I mean, S is American, right? So like this is actually kind of hilarious. I mean, if you look at the history, like there's been a lot of things like that happened between like America and Japan, and this is what people say, but Japan should hate America, right? But no, actually, Japanese people have a thing for Americans. Like, if you're an American, like, people will freaking love you. Like, that's just how it goes in Japan, right? So if you say America, you get like this American perks, which is great, like, which is freaking amazing. I saw a lot of like Americans who got free stuff just because like they are Americans. So if you say like, oh, I'm from America, then yeah, you get some amazing perks. It's the same for like British people too, and Australians too, maybe French too. But yeah, I don't know. And no, thank you. Do you think people return the wallets out of goodwill or because they are scared of getting caught stealing? Or other reason? Both. Goodwill, yes, that too. And they are scared of getting caught stealing, that too. Both. But I don't know, like, I've never done that myself, so I don't know, but I think it's both. But yeah, so here. What do they think about Brazil? I think people have a good... I'm not really sure about that actually, because like, we know that the crime rate in Brazil is kind of high compared to Japan, so I'm not really sure. But if you're American and if you come to Japan and you say like, oh, I'm American, people will usually be nice to you. Like, that's just how it goes. Does it differ with black people? It's people are scared of like black people in Japan because it's not like we are being racist or nothing. It's because there's like this one place called Harajuku, and there are like a lot of black people who grab your arms and try to bring you to like their freaking shops and go like, hey, you have to buy this or you cannot get out of this place. Like, that's just what they've been doing since I was like 10. Like, so they've been doing it for like 20 years. And black people are known for doing stuff like that in Japan. And it's not that black people do it, but it's mainly because like those people are from the countries where doing stuff like that is normal. So, and they just they just do it because it's just what they did in their countries, and they just do it here as well. So yeah, a lot of Nigerians, yeah, kinda. So just because stuff like that happens in Japan, we are afraid of like black people, not because of like they're black, but because of like what they do, especially in Tokyo area, like in Roppongi, Harajuku, what else? Yeah. And Paul S. Roba. I want to wear a cowboy hat and boots when I visit Japan, but my friend thinks I'm crazy. Thought? You can just do whatever you want to do. I mean, yeah. Kabukicho, I don't really think they do that in Kabukicho though. Kabukicho's like strictly run by Yakuzas and like Japanese people. Like, there's no foreigners. What about Indians? I mean, Indians are just Indians. Like, when we see Indians, like, we just think about Indian food. And I recently noticed, like, should I just talk about this too? So, I didn't know about this till like recently, but Indian food in Japan is freaking really popular, to the point where you sometimes have to wait for an hour to get in an Indian restaurant. So when we see Indians, like, we just think of like Indian food. That's it, really. That's seriously it, from my experience. So like, look at this. It's got freaking, this is a famous Indian restaurant, right? It's got freaking 1,279 reviews, and it's got 4.3 out of like 5. So talk to like Japanese people and just ask like what they think about Indians, and they just tell you like, oh, I love Indian food. Like, that's just what they tell you, like, first. If you ask like what people will think about Americans in Japan, they say like, oh, Hollywood movies. Indians, oh, Indian food, I love Indian food. Freaking people in Japan love Indian food, including myself. I didn't care about Indian food till like recently, but I started eating it and I'm like, god damn. And oh, Ray Kagane, thank you so much for the donation. Sora, does Japan have any food places open 24 hours? Yes, Sukiya Yoshinoya, like those gyudon places. And over, thank you. I'm Indian. Will people try to eat me? No, but thank you so much for the donation. They might tell you something like, you look yummy. 美味しそうって言うかも, because like they instantly think about food, right? Because Indian food is like that popular here. They might tell you that. And as thank you, supermarket sushi is cheap, kaiten sushi is cheap, omakase places are expensive. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Did I miss any other donations? I read everything, right? Yeah, I read everything. So.
In my case, if I were to eat this, it would spike my blood sugar really bad, and I'd probably be knocked out for the remainder of the video, so I won't be eating any more of this today, except maybe this piece here. Oh, so good. Bloody hell. Illustrative purposes. But while sushi isn't eaten every day or every week, fish absolutely is. So it's not that sushi is the reason for Japan's healthy diet, it's the heavy consumption of fish in general in everyday life. And now I've got to put this like down here and try not to eat it for the next 20 minutes. Wish me luck. Anyway, what about our second dish, ramen? Well, ramen is really...
Ramen's more common than sushi, right? It's like you saying like, our hamburger is more common than pizza in the States.
Healthy. That's an easy open and shut case. You know, it's a great source of nutrition, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's biased. He owns a ramen shop, to which I say, bollocks. We also serve gyoza. I think it's no secret that ramen isn't exactly good for you. It is, in effect, the equivalent of just downing a bucket of salt water. No matter how much you love it, probably no Japanese dish will inflict a greater sense of guilt upon you after you've eaten it. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing it might inflict upon you. A study in the Nutritional Journal in 2019 found that areas in Japan with higher numbers of...
Thank you, Johnny Bethy Poo Poo. You can. You can. But thank you so much for the donation. I mean, that was just sudden, but thank you so much for the donation.
Of ramen shops recorded more deaths by strokes than other Japanese prefectures. The high levels of sodium in a bowl of ramen being the most likely culprit. An undeniably unhealthy dish, but eaten in moderation, once or twice a month.
And thank you, Solar Dizzy. I'm from California. Are homes in Japan much nicer than the ones in the States, and how much does one cost? So what was your name again? Solar, right? Solar. Just keep watching my stream for a bit. Like for just 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, okay? So what's up? I got a house. I finally got a house for 130. So $130,000, right? Looks, by the way. I think pretty of this mic on boy like school. And I'm gonna print. You just kind of have to watch this video like yourself. But from my experience, American houses are bigger, definitely bigger, and so take a lot of and scream pee-pee. This is my bathroom, right? Look at this. Alright, let's get stuff. This is my freaking party, and we literally just had barbecue. And my kitchen. And my Japanese weeb room. And but that's just all for. Yeah. アメリカの地下は家とか家は地下とか3階あってめっちゃ広くてすごい。いやアメリカの家ねすごい広いっすよね。マジ広いと思う。まあでもそれはまあねアメリカっていう国がでかいからな。そう。But yeah, so depends. Could be cheap, could be expensive, could be big, could be small, depending on like what house you get, right? It's the same like in the States as well. Like depending on like some area, you get a huge house with like no yard or anything. It's the same in Japan. So don't even think about getting a house in Tokyo, by the way.
Right shop. It's a must try. Number 3, tempura. Take the finest fish and freshest vegetables. And then batter them into submission, drown them in oil and serve them with a pile of salt. Crunchy, golden, calorific mayhem. I don't think we can call that healthy as much as
Thank you, Solar. That is cheap. 130,000 a year will get you nothing much. It's because again, like I live in Chiba, this area. If I live in Tokyo, then yeah, it would be impossible. But again, like I live in Chiba, and it's still like freaking 40 minutes away from here. And yeah, I mean, as people are kind of saying in the chat, it's really difficult to compare like two different like countries, like when it comes down to like houses, because everything is so different, right? But if you are curious about how much it is to just get a house in Japan, it's just like that. And we could be cheaper actually. And as thank you, no central AC heating. That's a huge negative. No yard. Also, the solar lives in a burn fuck nowhere. So that's why it's cheap. It's not though. It's not though. It's not though. I mean, I'm freaking in the city. So what the? What the? No, I mean, no. It's cheap because, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you, but still. Like, what the? But no central AC heating. So, recently, an ex-coworker of mine visited my house, right? And she told me she has everything. She has like both. You just mentioned, by the way, here. So yeah. Bumfuck, yes. So, yeah. So, what I'm saying is, like, she probably paid a shit ton for that. I'm not sure, but she has died. And, again, so. And poolless raw bar, you can get houses for $130,000 in Oklahoma. Yeah, so. I mean, Oklahoma's like that, so I mean. But the thing about Japan's like, if you just avoid Tokyo, it's not gonna be that expensive. If you freaking just want to stick to Tokyo, it's gonna be expensive, yes. There are plenty of houses in America for that price, just depends on where and how big. Yes, it's the same in Japan as well. In Japan, just freaking avoid Tokyo and you can just do anything in Japan. Like, Japan is not an expensive country as long as you don't stick to Tokyo. And people freaking want to stick to Tokyo for some reason. You shouldn't do it. Cause again, Japan is a small country. Like again, Chiba, Kanagawa, Ibaraki, Saitama, you are literally right next to Tokyo. You can freaking go to Tokyo in like 30 minutes, right? So, yeah. But what if you want to go to Tokyo? Just freaking live in Chiba or like Saitama or Kanagawa and just go to Tokyo. It's like in 30 minutes away. It's like 30 minutes away from like where you are. 東京の田舎って言うと八王子とかですかね。でも東京の田舎は安いな、確かに。でもあれ東京ネームがあるからちょっと高くなるのは事実だと思ってます。でも八王子めっちゃ安いですよね、マジで。八王子とか立川の方かなと。あと練馬あそこら辺マジ安いと思う。けどそれを踏まえた上でも千葉とかの裏の方はマジで安い。マジで安い。マジで家が本当に50万で買えたりする。しょぼいやつは絶対買わない方がいいけど。
Number 4, curry rice. Instantly turn a plate of bland, forgettable rice into a...
See? Even Chris freaking mentioned it. So, Japanese food, Japanese people freaking like have a thing for like Indian food. Just talk to any Japanese people and they say like, oh, curry is amazing. You know what though? Some people like called me a racist just because like I love curry. Like, there was like this one stream before where I said like, oh, I love curry, so I like India, right? And I'm like, I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. And like some people freaking like started raging saying that's racist. They probably were memeing, to be honest with you, but still.
Effectively just one...
I mean, they were 100% memeing, never mind.
Puddle of tasty, delicious sodium. Okonomiyaki pancakes. Well, take a mountain of batter.
東京でも奥多摩なら安そう。東京ってだからね、値段の広がりすごいっすよね。23区超えるとめっちゃ安くなるじゃないですか、いきなり。けど、東京ネームがあるから、結局、東京に行きたがる人がいるので、需要が上がるから高くなりますよね。やっぱり。Wait, what, how is that racist? I'm pretty sure like they were memeing, so never mind. I mean, there are like a lot of memers on my channel, so.
And you've got yourself a celebration of carbohydrates, although don't worry, there's some lettuce in there, if you look closely. Tonkatsu, number 6.
Lettuce. That's cabbage. 外食は世界中どこでもヘルシーじゃない。すき焼き、とんかつ、天ぷら、カレー、すき焼き、毎食食べてるわけじゃない。家で何を食べるか重要。ご飯、納豆、野菜、魚、肉。それ最近自分気づいて、めっちゃ最近食事見直してんすよ。一時期、俺なんかとりあえず、なんか食べてれば健康になるだろうって思って、サプリメントだけ取って適当に過ごしてたら、めっちゃ不健康な食生活してることに気づいて、最近やたらと食を気をつけるようにはしてますね。で、here.
Don't worry, there's some lettuce in there.
No, that's cabbage.
And you've got yourself a celebration.
That's cabbage. Here. That's cabbage. That's not lettuce.
Of carbohydrates. Although don't worry, there's some lettuce in
No,
there.
that's cabbage. What the f?
If you look closely. Tonkatsu, number 6. Take a thick, juicy cut.
It's sort of gay. Where was the definition? Where was the definition? Swear that's true. Gay. Yo, that guy looks gay. Swear that's true? Hell yeah. I'd smash at least 17 times. I know, right? You are calling me gay, and you are gay too. What is this world? I don't get it, but okay.
Of fatty pork, drench it in breadcrumbs and sink it into a deep fat fryer. And serve it with free refills of unlimited rice and cabbage. Enough calories to run a marathon, probably not very helpful.
Thank you, S. Yep, took an hour.
Number 7, my favourite Japanese dish, yakitori skewered chicken. Grilled to perfection over a charcoal grill, and probably the dish I eat more than any other because I can delude myself that it's healthy because it's grilled over a charcoal grill. It's healthy, right? Well, not exactly, because when you order yakitori, it comes in 2 forms. 1, you can order shio, like salt, or 2, tare, sweet sticky sauce. So not only is it either caked in sauce or salt, but it's also a very oily dish. The cuts of chicken they use are frighteningly oily at times, and probably a key factor in the story of my disastrous cholesterol. Number 8, udon noodles. Well, the ultimate lunchtime dish is nothing more.
Why do people say like Japanese food is healthy? Why does a brother in Japan complain about salt? I don't really think he's complaining, honestly. He just like pointing out the fact like how people saying like Japanese food is healthy is not really exactly true. So if you just like start talking about like the food in America, yeah, maybe. I mean, right. You get a point. You get a point there. If you start talking about like American food and if you start comparing like those two, like Japanese food and American food, yeah, why not? Yeah, Japanese food could be healthy. I mean, I was in the States for a bit, like for a month actually. And then I was like, oh, okay, so if this is like what Americans eat, then yeah, maybe. Maybe what we eat in Japan's probably healthier. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. 家で食べてるもの。いや、なんつうか、だから、そっか。ぶっちゃけたこと言うと、アメリカの人がそこら辺で手に入れられるものって日本よりは確かにヘルシーだよな。And Blaze, thank you to get people to buy food and to make it seem more approachable for health conscious people until they actually look at what it's in the food. What is in the food? Thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, but thank you so much for telling me that too. Yeah, if you start talking about American food, yeah, I guess like Japanese food is healthier, but like it doesn't mean everything in Japan's like healthy. So that's one thing. And thank you, cause every article on the internet says Japanese people only eat rice, seaweed, miso soup, and fish. I sometimes do though. But thank you so much for telling me that. And ututu, ingredients like vegetables and fish, beef are farmed much organically compared to other places. I don't really kind of. There are like organic places like that only, sell like organic vegetables and whatever, but it's not really like how it is everywhere in Japan. So I kind of have to doubt it a bit, but I have to also tell you like it's partially true. So yeah, it's really hard to just. It's partially true. It's not really true. Both.
Water and salt. The thick noodles contain almost no protein. It's simply a carbohydrate party in your mouth, served in a rich, salty broth, and typically served with a pile of tempura to see you through as well. Number 9, gyudon. A big bowl of steaming hot rice. Topped with slices of beef and onions. Because this dish is in effect just a pile of rice in disguise, it's hard to class it as truly healthy, I think. And number 10, we have gyoza. Tasty pan-fried dough stuffed full of sodium and pork. Delicious. Now you can get sui gyoza, literally boiled gyoza, but it doesn't disguise the fact this is just a delightfully curated piece of dough. And
let me wait, guys. This is like a famous meme, but so. Do you guys know what gyudon is? Tell me yes or no. I have to tell you guys like something awesome. Probably a lot of you guys know about this, but some of you guys probably don't know about this, and you have to learn something. So you guys know what gyudon is, right? Alright, let me just take a poll. Do you guys know what cheese gyudon is? I have to tell you. I have to tell you something. Like there's like a no, okay. So I have to tell you. Yes, thank you, Chigi Oishina. So cheese gyudon. We call it cheese gyudon, right? And an abbreviation for that is Chigyu. Yeah, Chigyu. So cheese gyudon. So cheese gyudon is like exactly this. So cheese gyudon is this, right? It looks freaking tasty and stuff. But there was like this one meme that freaking blew up in Japan. This picture. This is basically a guy saying like, "Hey, can I have cheese gyudon, please?" Basically, right? And this thing freaking blew up in Japan. What's that? It's basically a nerd getting cheese gyudon, right? And the thing about it is like this thing freaking blew up in Japan, and people freaking said like this is accurate as fork. So people were like, you know what? Every nerd in Japan probably likes cheese gyudon. And then we confirmed that a lot of nerds, in fact, like cheese gyudon. So we started calling nerds Chigyu, an abbreviation for cheese gyudon. Like Chigyu, cheese gyudon, Chigyu, right? So instead of like calling people nerds, we just call people Chigyu, cheese gyudon. So like yourself, yes, like me. So like on the internet, people freaking just call people names, like saying like you loser, you whatever, right? In Japan, what people do here right now is like people freaking call others like Chigyu, food. Like, omae Chigyu daro, which means like, you're Chigyu, right? Chigyu ってそういうこと、そういうことっすよ。Or like, you look like you like Chigyu, like that's actually an insult too. Or like somebody actually got cancelled for saying that like on TV. This guy said something like, "Oh, he looks like he eats cheese gyudon every day," and he got cancelled. So yeah, that was actually a funny meme. Like that was freaking hilarious. And thank you, Paul S. Raba. So basically, Japanese tendies. I don't know what tendies are, but thank you so much for that. Probably yes. They call them cheese gyudon instead of goen nerd. Yes. No, they say チー牛、チー牛。初めて聞いたけど、この料理今販売しているのずっとありますよ。チー牛なんてずっとある。So, if you wanted to roast Japanese people on the internet, just call them チー牛。ずっとチー牛。アデノイド顔芸の人がチー牛扱いされることが多いね。そうっすね。こういう口してる人こういう口してなんかこういう目してる人。これチー牛って言うんじゃない？でも実際何がチー牛なのか分かんないんで、チー牛ってニートとかオタクとかニート、そうっすね。多分、ちょっと自分あんまり詳しくないので、すみません。And thank you, random Panyan. Buy cook, no I mean coke. Oh, buy cock. Sure, I'm gonna buy cock later. Oh yeah, again, so like if you wanted to roast Japanese people, just call them Chigyu. Chigyu, yeah. So that Chigyu, yeah. Chigyu. Is it true some dude farted?
Off with slices of beef and onions. Because this dish is in effect just a pile of rice in disguise, it's hard to class it as truly healthy, I think. And number 10, we have gyoza. Tasty pan-fried dough.
If you go to like a gyudon restaurant and say, can I get a cheese gyudon? People will freaking look at you. And people will go like, does he really look like he likes chigyu? And if you look like one, people will freaking just giggle at you. Really? Yes. So, thankfully, I don't look like a typical chigyu guy, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you look like this, then getting a chigyu at a restaurant is apparently a nightmare. Like, a lot of like people in Japan who look like this stopped getting chigyu because they don't want to be typical. But are you sure? Yes, I'm not like a this やってみて笑われるか見たい。ちょっとやってこうか。Well, should I do it on stream then? Like go into a gyudon restaurant and ordering chigyu and see if they laugh at me or not. If they laughed at me, that means like they think I'm a nerd. I look like a nerd. Alright then, I'm gonna do it probably. Just getting chigyu. And actually look like this. Like, you know what? I'm gonna wear glasses too. Like this. Yeah, you gotta wear glasses like. And I'm gonna just wear a shirt like this one and go like, すいません、三色牛丼のチーズ、三色チーズ牛丼の大盛り温玉好きをお願いします。I wanna do that. If they laugh at me, that means Fedora is like not really like chigyu. That's considered like Playboy-ish in Japan. So yeah, I'm gonna do it probably. And thank you. As tendies equals chicken tenders equals what no life basement dwellers eat. Google chicken tendies nerd. I will do it later, but thank you. And Kate Karui, that truesize.com shows actual map size of Japan. I can tell you like this is probably like a PP size or something. And thank you, Livan X. I hope you like the cheese gyudon more than the roast beef bowl you got before. Roast beef bowl wasn't really that tasty though. I like cheese gyudon better, honestly. So.
Oh, stuff full of sodium and.
Well, thank you so much for the donation either way, by the way.
Delicious. Now you can get sui gyoza, literally boiled gyoza. But it doesn't disguise the fact this is just a delightfully curated piece of dough, and in my opinion it's much better pan-fried anyway. And don't even get me started on karaage chicken. And these are just some of the most common foods you'll eat when you go out in Japan. And look at this, I've only eaten one more piece of sushi, so I'm doing pretty well. I'm not going to eat any more. But meals in Japan are very carb heavy and often jammed full of sodium.
This is kind of obvious, and I talked about it like more than like 30 times. So obese rate in Japan is apparently like the second lowest, right? I thought it was like second lowest in Japan. No, it's like, yeah, this. I talked about it more. Oh! Hey, Nude HD XYZ Best Adult Dating Site. What's up, dude? Oh. Hey, I missed you. It's a bot. Oh, why did you ban him, Jules? He's a nice bot. He freaking just like goes to a lot of different channels and he freaking, you know, posts some like kiss marks and whatever, which is kind of really typical for bots to do, but still they do it because like they probably don't know that we all know like it's a bot and we don't even fall for that, but still they do it just because like they are bots and that's just so you know what I mean though? I was gonna freaking make a meme about it. I'm banned, no. He's not making you money. I mean but yeah, so I mean I talked about it before. It's not the food we eat here, it's like what we do in Japan. It's just people freaking walking outside everywhere. It's like literally that.
But as someone who is both a salty palate and a salty personality.
And then you pull as Roba, second lowest developed nations. Lots of poor nations are too starving to be obese. That too. But in Japan, it's not the food, it's the exercise we do here in Japan. And as are we even going to get through this video? Maybe not.
I love Japanese food so
Well, thank you so much for the
One
donation.
reason for the popularity of salt historically is to offset the hot, humid summer months when people typically sweat profusely and lose a lot of body salt. Not only that, but salt was essential in the pickling and preservation process, and that high consumption of salt does come at a cost. Japan has 4 times the rate of stomach cancer than the UK, and
Really?
that is often attributed to the high consumption of sodium. At this point, you might be wondering, well, how do Japanese people maintain such healthy weights? How do they keep the obesity rate down so well? And it more or less comes down to 3 or 4 lifestyle factors. Firstly, people in Japan are more active in daily life. There's a lot of walking and cycling to and from school or work. A study in 2008 found Japanese people walked on average 2,000 steps a day more than Americans. Secondly, the portion sizes are smaller, especially when compared to America, although I think any country compared to America would lose. But the average person in Japan is said to consume
How fast is transportation in Japan?
per day than the
Very fast.
average American. Thirdly, people here don't typically snack that much between meals because they want to eat all the food in front of them. It's really rude
2000 歩でそんな
to
変わるか。めちゃくちゃマジなこと言っていいですか。ちょっとこうみんなに知ってほしいんで英語で話しますが。So do you think walking a little bit will actually change anything about you? Like in terms of like your body shape. Do you think it will change it just for walking a little bit? Like 2000 steps. Do you think it will change anything? Yes or no? Tell me. I'm gonna just tell you the answer to it. Yes. Only like 2000 steps? Yes, it will. Like definitely. It will. It's not that like you burn calories, but it's more like you get muscles on your like mainly thighs, I'm guessing, or just feet or legs, whatever, right? It will. 2000 steps is like enough. You don't, it's not like you burn calories, but it's like what matters the most is like you get more muscles, right? And if you have like leg muscles, you freaking burn calories like a lot more, and that's kind of what happens to people. That's just kind of what I am and who I am and why I'm like this. So cuffs. I don't really think you get muscles like on like your cuff, like if you walk though, because I walk and my cuff is like freaking small. But this is not me stripping. But again, so I have like a lot of muscles like around here, right? So if you have like a lot of muscles around here, you burn calories more, and just having muscles like itself will make you thin. So that's just kind of, yeah. If you see like people in Japan, like people freaking have like huge legs usually.
in Japan. And because the meals are heavy in carbs, people don't get hungry in between lunch and dinner. And finally, number 4, as I've talked about in previous videos, there's a lot of
なぜ前髪で髪をスタイリングするの前髪で髪をスタイリングっていうのは、前髪を使って髪をスタイリングって意味だから、神業に聞こえるっすよ、それ。多分 Google 翻訳かもしれないですけど、どうだろう。もし本当に、手書きで書いてくれたのならちょっとバカにしてるみたいで申し訳ないんですけど、多分 Google 翻訳じゃないかな。前髪でスタイリングっていうと、あれっすよ、なんか、なんだろう、前髪を使ってスタイリングするみたいな、神業に聞こえる。できるのかいみたいな。
Pressure to stay slim. But there is a law called the Metabo law, and companies are fined if their employees are classed as overweight or obese. Typically, people over 40 have to have their waistlines measured every year, and if they're over, the company gets fined. That's quite a radical measure, but it seems to be relatively popular in Japan. But all of these factors are what keep obesity rates down, waistlines in check, and cases of heart disease and cancer down as well. So the reason Japanese people are healthier isn't necessarily that the food is superior or more nutritionally brilliant. It's that the lifestyle and the culture play a key role in moderating the Japanese diet.
So, can I just tell you something? How many people here like want to actually lose weight? Like thinking about going on a diet, like trying to lose weight. You? As a guy who freaking was kind of fat and became like insanely thin and just became normal like this, I know how to do it like easily. So cram crashers, you spelled it wrong. Cram crashers, I don't really think it's gonna happen again, because like again, I talked about it before though. Like my brother was a drummer, right? He's married and he has kids. I don't really think he wants to do it anymore. And the bassist was like my friend. He's done with like music completely. If I were to do something, I'm gonna just like do everything by myself, like I'm doing right now. So Sora was never fat. I mean, no though. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? You have to be able to see it. That's not fat. I mean, there's no difference. No. I mean, mildly overweight. I wasn't overweight, but in Japan, you're fat if you're like this. So, then I went from this to, where was it? This, right? This is when I was like extremely thin and I was actually unhealthy. Like people were worried about me everywhere. And I was like, no. So, and I look like this now. I'm probably the healthiest in my life right now because I actually started caring about what food to eat and stuff, right? The easiest thing you can do is seriously, it's not like you have to care about like what food you eat. It's more like what exercise and what like workout you do. Like that's kind of what I figured out. Like seriously, so I mean, after that, I've been consistent. Like I don't really think that I look that different. I look more healthy now, but so it really seriously depends on like what exercise you do though. So like that's like the most important thing. And then what exercise can you do? VR, bro, everybody. VR. Just play VR table tennis. VR table tennis is like the best thing ever. You can seriously, you know, play this game and you'll lose weight, and it's like freaking so like this. See? Like what you do in VR is like what happens in real life, and you can lose your weight like a lot instantly. I mean, this is kind of what I kind of do a lot. And that's kind of why I got like a little leg muscles, and I'm good with pilots. Beat Saber is good too, but like VR table tennis is like much better. Like, see? I only play VR to work out. And it's been working really well. And I thank you, チー牛食べてるみたい。チー牛食べたことないんだよね、実は。まだ。I've never had it. Muscle can help burn fat though, because muscles need calories to maintain their size too. Yes, so muscles can help you. You get skinnier, but it's mainly calorie deficit. Maybe, but I still eat like whatever I want to eat, and I've been the same. So, I sort of believe that. I freaking closed it. God damn it! I sort of believe, what you do is more important than what you eat.
Rice. Not exactly, because when you order yakitori, it comes with carbs. People don't.
Cafes everywhere.
These factors are what keep opening stores. You don't. Whenever you look up anything Japan related online, odds are you'll find the country being portrayed as weird. Like,
Oh my god! Apparently Japan has these robot cafes everywhere, full of crazy dancing robots, caked in scantily clad women.
no, that's just one place in Shinjuku, and it's closed now.
Oh my god! Did you see those wacky Japanese inventions? People walking around with toilet rolls on their heads. It's mental.
No, it's just a Japanese inventor who makes funny stuff for magazines and TV. Nobody actually uses them for frighteningly obvious reasons.
Oh my god! Have you seen everyone in Japan lives off a diet of square watermelons?
Fucking hell.
They're like melons, but
This watermelon's apparently extremely expensive too. Now, next time CTR or T. Yes, this is. Yeah, I mean, I have it. I have it. That's my keybind here. Boom, 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 boom. I do it with my mouse. Like, I freaking put a macro here on this button. So.
square. It's so weird.
I mean, they are watermelons that are square. That is quite weird. But they are very rare, and they're given as gifts. And I don't think I've actually ever seen one in 10 years. Now, at this point, I do feel a sense of guilt, because I can't be sitting here like, oh, the internet makes Japan look weird, when I'm responsible as much as anyone. I mean, this channel's been built off of me looking for strange, weird things in everyday life. Sitting in a room.
You know what's funny though? So, Chris Broad abroad in Japan is actually really, really amazing, right? Some people say like Chris Broad has been like scamming like viewers and whatever, and I never get it. I mean, scamming is like when you literally just steal people's money, right? I don't think he's ever done that. And alright, let's say he's done it before, right? Let's say he's done it, but still, that doesn't mean what he does on YouTube is bad though. I actually respect him for what he does. And cause like I live in Japan, right? And he's been able to show people the interesting parts of Japan than actual Japanese people, which I think is crazy. No, he's not. He's doing great editing. Yeah, I mean, I really doubt why people, or some people say like he's been scamming viewers and whatever. Like, what is the definition of like scamming though? But yeah, what he does in fact is actually really great, and he does videos about Japan better than any Japanese people out there. Cause like what he finds and what he shares on YouTube is like what we can't. So he's really charismatic. Yeah. How is he scamming people? I mean, some people were mentioning like that. So I was like, what the hell? Like how is he scamming? He's legitimately a great person. So and thank you, S. Bowling ball sized watermelon, $20. Hate it. Yeah, it's like 20. Yeah. So I never get watermelons here. They mean tricking. Still, like, he's not really tricking people though, on YouTube at least. Like, if you wanted to know about Japan, his channel is like one of the channels like you have to watch for sure. Even for me as a Japanese person, I can learn a lot about Japan because like he in fact notices a lot of interesting points about Japan, and they are like all useful, and he's actually smart, and how he delivers his content on YouTube is also top notch too. So I mean, yeah, but I mean this is just like how it goes on YouTube. So
Eating a Kit Kat and making fun of silly words. Touch bone headphones.
I've seen it. So
I mean, in 2007, I scrambled to film this robot dinosaur hotel in Tokyo, and I got down there. To be fair, it was a pretty flawed hotel. Half the robots didn't work. But I did the video, put it up, and then, like, Canada's biggest news channel picked it up because they were like, wow, weird, wacky Japan. And I went on there and just...
he also shows a lot of parts not that shown about Japan. So seriously, like, it's not that you have to watch Japanese people to know about Japan. Like, I mean, he's not Japanese, but still, like, if you wanted to learn about Japan, I mean, just watch his videos, like, more than anything. This is what I've been saying, but if you wanted to learn Japanese, like, watch Dogen's videos, like, watch Dogen's channel. He's not Japanese, but still, I think it's the best channel to learn Japanese. And it's the best person to learn Japanese from, though he's not really Japanese. If you wanted to know about Japan, his channel. The reason why I think those two are best is because, like, so simply because Japanese people are bad at teaching you Japanese. Simply because we didn't learn Japanese. We just picked up Japanese and we kind of grew up speaking Japanese, so we don't know how to learn Japanese. Dogen, on the other hand, he grew up in the States and he learned Japanese, so he knows, like, what struggles are. What's hard for Japanese people? I mean, for non-Japanese people. 日本人から日本語を習う必要ないと思ってます、自分マジで。だってどう習えばいいか分かんないじゃないですか。He knows, like, what can't be said. He knows, like, what can be said. So Dogen is a great person for it. Same for Chris Broad as well. If you wanted to know, like, what can't be done and what can be done in Japan, learn it from Chris Broad. Because if you ask Japanese people, we'll say, like, I don't know. Because we are Japanese, we grew up in Japan. I don't know, like, what can't be done outside of Japan. We cannot compare our country to, like, different like, countries. So, like, let's say, I mean, I speak English, so, like, I act like I know a lot about, you know, different countries too, right? But in reality, I've been in Japan since I was born, and I'm still in Japan. So I don't know how it is to live abroad. So I don't know, like, what can't be done and what can be done. I don't know what's a taboo. I didn't know telling somebody you got a small face was an insult till recently. I really thought it was actually a great thing too. I learned it from a friend of mine. 日本人から日本語を習うのは賛成側です。だから状況によるんですよ。ある程度レベルが伸びてきて、その日本人と同等の日本語を学ぶっていうのは確か問題ないんですけど、初心者の人がいきなり日本語を日本人から学ぼうとしてるんですよね。で、結局日本人が日本語で話すんですよ。日本語の先生って日本語学校行くと。そういう、ストーリー結構聞いたことあるんですけど、その日本人の先生がやっぱ日本語で喋ってあげないとって言って、何々さん分かりますか、何々さん分かりますかって全部日本語でいいけど分かんないんですよ、やっぱり。でそれをそのレベルにいる人たちは一回困難とかが分かる人たちから習って勉強した方がいいと思うんですよ。でそれである程度分かって日本人から学ぶのは問題ないと思うんですよね。英語もそうだと思うんですけど、日本人が持ってる問題とかって日本人にしか分からないところがあるんで、そこは日本人の先生に最初習ってから英語の習うだったら分かるんですけどね。どの言語でもそうだと思うんですよね、自分は。And thank you, S. Best way to learn about a new country is from other non-natives. There's stuff I've noticed that Japanese people never realized as being different, etc. It is, yeah. So, like, I made a video recently, right? And, yeah, in Japan, telling people, like, you have a small head, small face is a great thing. Like, it basically means, like, you look good. I don't know where you guys are from, but it's a bad thing, right? Outside of Japan. I didn't know about it till recently. Again, I didn't know about it. So I really cannot tell you like what can't be done because I don't know like anything about what happens, like what's bad outside of Japan. I don't know about America, to be honest. You don't have to tell me what America's like, but where you guys are from, right? ソラさんって日本語教師でしたっけ、英語教師さんでしたっけ？どっちも経験ありますよ。でもちゃんとやってたのは英語教師の方だったかな。ぶっちゃけあんまやりたくなかったけど、というのもあんま教えるの得意じゃないのと、ちゃんとその自分も英語の教育を受けたわけじゃないから、英語の勉強の仕方って分かんなかったんですよね。あんまりやりたくなかったな、あれは。正直な話。I didn't know about small face either. I'm still confused. So, in Japan, having a small face is good. And having a small head is beautiful. So, I think this is like what it's like, but Caucasians usually have like a smaller head compared to like Asians. I'm talking about the ratio, by the way. I'm not talking about like how big their heads actually are, but like ratio-wise, their heads are smaller than their like body part. I could be wrong. So compliment. Yes, it's a compliment. So a lot of like people are jealous. Like Japanese people are jealous about Caucasians having a small face compared to like their body size, right? So they will freaking tell you something like, "Oh, I'm really jealous of you because you have a small head, you have a small face." And apparently, a friend of mine who's from America got offended because it's an insult there. And I was like, why is it an insult? But apparently, yeah. Small head, small brain, idiot for some people, yeah. But in Japan, it's a great thing. Like, it seriously means like you look great. You look like a model. Like, that's just what it means.
Repeated the phrase robot dinosaurs about 8 times.
The Hana Hotel is staffed by robots. Chris Broad is a British filmmaker. He recently went to the hotel to document it for a YouTube channel abroad in Japan. Okay, what was the coolest thing you saw or the oddest thing you saw?
Robotic dinosaur, robotic fish, the robotic talking egg.
I may have accidentally insulted people from the US. Oh well. I mean, I roasted a lot of like Americans with like without knowing like I roasted them. Like that happened so many times. Like a lot of like Americans, not only just Americans, but a lot of people roasted me without knowing they roasted me too, by the way. Like it's happened so many times. Like it's not anything like weird. It's not anything bad, honestly. It's just like what happens because like culture differences. Like so there's like this one word called Jap, right? J-A-P, Jap. So Jap seems to be like an abbreviation of Japanese, right? J-A-P. But it's supposed to be a slur. So you shouldn't say Jap to Japanese people. It's actually a bad word. Like Jap is a bad word. If you don't know like why it's a bad word, like just look up some history, right? And there are a lot of like people who don't know it's a slur. And just because the word Jap seems to be an abbreviation of Japanese, people, my clients, by the way, I work as a voice actor, right? Or like I work as a translator and whatever. When I get clients from like some people, they legitimately told me something like, "Would you be able to do it in Jap?" And I'm like, dude, that's not something you should say in a business situation. What the? See, I mean, you don't know like about this. Jap is a slur. Yes, it's a slur. 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 So, and like, what was it? Like, some people on the internet like messaged me saying like, "Hi, I want Jap friends, and I wanted to make friends who are from Jap." So please accept my friend request. And I'm like, dude, I honestly don't care. But yeah, it's happened so many times to me too. And thank you, Warumo no Kurenai. Here you go, man. I've always thought having a small head sucks, but now it doesn't suck that bad. Matter of perspectives. In Japan, if you have a small head, small face, you are cute. You are good looking. If you have a big, so who was it? Like somebody looked at a picture of mine like the other day, and like somebody told me like my face is big, and that sounded like a roast. But depending on where you're from, it can be it can be a compliment, right? So, yeah, it depends on like where you're from, maybe. And as if I roast you, it's intentional. Don't worry. Yeah, but thank you so much for the donation. Thank you.
Yeah, it must have been a slow day in Canada that day.
Your face is certainly not big.
Is it not? But with all that in mind,
when I got the fedora, I got the biggest one at the store, cause like other ones didn't fit. So I was talking to like one of the staff, and she was like, "Your head is like so big, so we have to find the biggest one here." And I'm like, "Oh, that kind of sounded like a roast, but okay."
mind, people who've never set foot in Japan must just think the country looks like this, when in reality it looks more like this. Like it's true.
Maybe.
The Japanese culture is wildly different from the UK, and honestly, going between the two countries is an incredible transition. It is almost like changing worlds. But that's because of the architecture, the food, the scenery. It's not that everything is just inherently weird the moment you get out of Narita Airport. And the reason I focus on these weird stories...
Oh, speaking of that, yeah, like unintentional like racial slurs, there are some words we say which mean like bitter in Japanese. If you say it in Japanese, that sounds like it's a racial slur towards black people. And this one baseball player said it in Japanese in the States because like something was bitter, right? And he got in trouble for that. So I mean, stuff like that also happens to Japanese people as well. I mean, it's a thing.
Stories or bizarre things is that it's just fun. You want to surprise and intrigue.
Or like saying you in Korean or something. I don't know. I forgot.
People. I want people standing around the water fountain at work talking about what they saw on abroad in Japan. What I don't like, and the one criticism I do have, is often with this narrative of Japan being weird, when you see it in articles or pasted across social media, they talk about the strange stuff, they show the weird things, but they don't reveal the sort of cultural factors underpinning why things have turned out that way. Because that's the actually interesting part, right? Like, oh, there's so many vending machines in Japan, it's weird. Well, Japan gets absurdly hot and humid in summer, people need to stay hydrated. And because cities are so densely populated and people live in tiny apartments where they can't store an awful lot of goods, like multi-packs, it's pretty...
Do you like anime? ね、猫全体, thank you so much for asking me that, thank you.
Easy to turn a profit by sticking a vending machine on each and every street corner. Square watermelons, it's crazy. Well, basically a farmer in Shikoku worked out if you put a melon in a box and grow it, it retains the shape of the box, and if you sell that as a key watermelon, you make lots of money, particularly to the lucrative gift market.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Everyone sleeps in a cat.
Just answer the damn question, do you like anime?
So it's wild. Well, these days they're more popular with tourists.
Watermelons, you cannot eat them though, by the way. You cannot eat them.
But originally they were for salarymen on the go. Nice cheap option. And because Japanese people are very mindful of making noise and respecting others around them, sleeping in such close quarters wasn't ever an issue. Although stay at a capsule hotel full of drunken overseas tourists and you'll quickly discover the concept doesn't work very well. But I think if YouTube has done one...
You can't? What do you mean? Wait, what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, you can't, yeah, watermelons, no, you can't.
Good thing.
I mean, you can, but they don't taste great. Because they are just for, like, decoration purposes.
It's dispel a lot of these myths about Japan. Before, we could only see the country through the narrow lens of TV and film.
It's not really a food. It's just for like decoration purposes. It's kind of like getting a cool lighting for your room, if you know what I mean.
With the emphasis on a shell-shocked presenter stumbling backwards and forwards across Shibuya Crossing, looking like a headless fucking chicken. Because there's so many channels these days making videos about Japan, you can get a real insight into what life is like here, what people are thinking. So I think these days the weird Japan narrative doesn't
It's basically like getting a pumpkin. Exactly, yes.
really hold up to as much
And
scrutiny.
thank you, Mongeko Kenshi. Answer the damn question. Do you like anime? Do you like anime? Do you like anime?
Just because there are
Do you like anime?
people on the ground who
Thank you so much for the donation. But do you like anime?
can show you the real Japan. Touch bone headphones. Oh god.
Do you like? Thank you so much for the donation, Mongeko Kenshi. Do it, Sora. Thank you so much for the donation. And Paul S. Roba, thank you. Do you like anime? Do you like anime? I'm sorry.
So the first time I ever went to Tokyo was about 10 years ago for a weekend, and there was only one thing that I really wanted to do, and that was see Asimo the robot. Now, today we're all wowed by Boston.
Let me actually chill. Right, yeah, right, thank you. Hey, so do you like the hentai or ero anime? Wait, hentai and ero anime are exactly the same thing. I mean, I feel like you are memeing, honestly. Yeah, you are memeing, never mind. You're memeing. I don't really watch hentai though. I've never been interested in hentai. And hentai monster, thank you. Do you like hentai? Asking for a friend. No, I don't really watch it, and I've never been interested. Thank you so much, yes. Hey, I'm not sure anyone's ever asked this before, but I was just wondering if you like anime. Thank you, yes. Thank you so much for the donation. Do you actually like abroad in Japan? Yes, I'm gay. And I think he's hot. I feel like somebody's gonna probably tell like Chris Broad, so I'm gonna be serious. No, I like what he does. Yes, I like what he does, and I think what he does is like quite unique. And I respect him as a YouTuber actually, because I do YouTube myself as well. What he does is something nobody else can do. What he does is like something I cannot do. What he does is very entertaining, and he actually... hentai と do you like anime は一緒な意味のいや違うんすけど But thank you, S. If you like... But thank you so much for the donation. Do you like anime? I hope you guys are memeing. And I hope you guys actually don't ask Japanese people whether they like anime or not in real life. I hope you guys are just memeing, and I hope you guys have never done that to Japanese people. I really hope you've never done that to Japanese people. Please don't ask Japanese people if they like anime or not, just because they are Japanese. Wait, why? I don't know. I mean, it's just like... it's kind of like asking people, like, do you like Fortnite? I don't know. Lemon Jong in 23... Ah! Thank you so much for the donation, Solo Dizzy. Just wanted to know if you like anime. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm sorry, like, this is just really funny because, okay, in my head, what I'm seeing right now is like, you know, a typical weeb-looking person coming up to me and going like, do you like anime? Like, so, let me show you what I'm imagining in my head. Ready? You Japanese? You like anime? Bro, you like anime? Like, I watch Naruto. You like anime? It's anime in Japan. It's anime popular in Japan. You like anime? You watch anime, bro? You watch Attack on Titan? Like, that's what I'm imagining in my head, right? Of course, it's freaking hilarious. And thank you, Live and X. Do you like Hitomi Tanaka? I didn't know who Hitomi Tanaka was until like recently. Isn't it? Isn't she like a porn star? 僕日系人でアメリカの友達から Do you watch anime 変態って聞かれた。いや本当に何なんだろう。なんか it's like asking Americans if they like hamburgers or not. Like it's just like way too memey, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Live and X, do you like Hitomi Tanaka? I don't know what she looks like. I know she's a porn star because like people keep mentioning her everywhere. So, and thank you, Roland Pada. There's lots of foreigners who ask Japanese streamers if they like anime. Don't actually ask people, Japanese people, if they like anime or not, just because they are Japanese. I mean, that's just you being this. You being this. Like, seriously, you being this. Did you like anime? Did you like Fortnite? Naruto? Sasuke Senpai? Oh my gosh, like, Attack on Titan is like so great, right? Like I was watching Attack on Titan, yes. If it's not cringy, yeah, just go ahead and freaking ask Japanese people if they like anime or not, just because they are Japanese. If they were talking about anime, or if they're talking about like, oh, I like Attack on Titan, then why not? Why not? Yeah, sure. If you suddenly go up to people and go like, nerd, oh, Naru-chan, konnichiwa. If you suddenly go up to people, Japanese people, and go like, oh, do you like anime? You are being like that, so. And, thank you, Lemon Jongi. I've been meaning to ask you this. I wasn't sure if anyone has ever asked you this before, so I'll ask gently in case it's a hard topic for you. Okay, here it does. So do you possibly maybe like anime? Yes, I do. I watch Naruto. そんなキモい人だと思わないけど、いや、そうなんですけど、知っといてほしいのが、マジで、いきなり突然、Do you like anime? って言ってくる人は大体ああいう感じだから、本当に。自分の経験上っすよ。だから笑っちゃうんだよな。マジで突然、Do you like anime? っていう人は大体こういう感じ。本当に。だからもう、そういうこと。And epic, not epic. The question remains, do you like anime? Yes, I like anime and I watch Naruto. And I watch Attack on Titan. And Chu Waffers, thank you. I thought you said you'd be out of character. I mean, I just find this really hilarious. So, I'm sorry. And Paulus Raba. Let's grab some cheese gyoza and watch Naruto. Cheese gyudon. But thank you so much for the donation, and I actually want to know how to pronounce your name.
Roarbar.
Roarbar. And thank you, S. Call your mom and ask her if she likes anime. SDSSF, thank you so much for the donation. Call my mom and ask her if she likes anime. Ah, 質問があるんだけどさ、アニメって好きだったっけ？アニメって好き？
アニメ、嫌いではないけど、好きってことではないかも。
そんだけです。はい、じゃあまた、はい、後で。では、バイバイ。She was like, it's not that I hate it, but it's not that I like it either. She was like, it's not that I like it, but it's not that I hate it either. So it's like, whatever, is like what she basically said. So I just freaking find it hilarious. Did I miss any donations? No, right? I read everything, right? Okay, I read everything.
Dynamics, and they're frighteningly humanoid robots that can dance better than I ever could. But Honda had cracked the case back in the 90s.
Sora, do you remember when a pro gamer girl, Tanukana, used the word jinken on stream and people thought she said short men have no human rights and she got kicked out of from... No. It's not people thought. No, it's not people thought. She actually said that. So basically she said, like, if you were shorter than 170 centimeters, if you're like shorter than 170 centimeters tall, then you don't have human rights. She said that, and yeah, she got cancelled for that. Cause yeah, people just raged because like, so you were telling me I'm not a human, huh? And yeah, she had like sponsors and stuff, right? Like Red Bull was like sponsoring her, and yeah, she got cancelled because like Red Bull didn't want to support like, you know, her for being harsh towards like people, saying like they don't deserve to be a human. So it's not like people thought she said that. It's like she actually said that, and she got cancelled. Yes. And just thank you. でも変態野郎です。エロ動画大好きですか？あ、どうもか。I don't really watch porn though. One thing. Sora's 5'5", no 5'7". And Kyoko Heng, big boobs. Like, big boobs, question mark. Like, what do you mean though? Big boobs, question mark. Do I have them? Yes, I have big boobs. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're like watching this, because I feel like my mom's watching this right now.
1990s with their P-series bipedal robots, the end result being Asimo. So I went to the Tokyo Midai-kan, literally the future museum, and I sat down on the floor like everybody else, waiting for Asimo to come out. And as the doors opened, and you saw his little white figure, he came running out, like a human, to audible gasps around the room. And I cannot begin to express how surreal that moment was. It was so cool, pretty scary
Tales of Miltus, thank you so much for the donation.
as well. And as you watched in awe, as it ran around like a human, hopped
How
on
long is this video? Like 20 minutes? But I'm gonna skip some parts.
one leg, and even kicked a football. You were ready, you were ready for the future. And just as you were like, yes, the future
Can I drop kick the robot? Maybe not.
is here, had by Honda, resigned forever to being nothing more than $1 million alternate
We
reality.
should skip some parts and talk about like if... That's a good point.
The most controversial, potentially. Away we
It's not a penguin. Penguin
go.
giant.
Hey, Thrustmaster.
Aren't you guys curious, like, whether, like, you know, what will happen to them if you kick robots, though? Like, drop kick them. Penguins, yeah, sure. But
Ridiculous. Oh, God.
I got on Twitter related to the
everyone's so friendly. I kind of doubt it, and I kind of agree with him. Are Japanese people friendly? Say one if you think so. Say two if they are not. Tell me. I'm curious, like, what you guys think. Because this is kind of... It will change depending on, like, what experience you've had. Yeah, so it's like one and two both, yeah. Both are right. Both are correct. So, depending on, like, who you are, what country you are from, like, what kind of things you do, you might think people are friendly. You might not think people are friendly. It depends. Polite, not friendly. Thank you, S. Yeah, that's more et than friendly. And thank you, Tales of Mildus. Are you anime? Yes, I am anime. Thank you so much for the donation. I know the truth, and it's two. So I know what Chris is gonna talk about here. It's not that everyone's friendly. It's more like people will be friendly if you act 100% like a foreigner, and if you go like, hey, because we feel like we have to kind of keep up with you. So it's kind of like a fake friendliness, if that makes any sense. It's more like people are polite. People are really, really polite. People won't usually BS you that much. There are some exceptions, but like there are some crazy people everywhere. So, From my experience, are people friendly? No, they are polite. Are people nice in Japan? Yes, people are nice in Japan. I don't really have like bad experiences in Japan that much, but so the definition of like it this kind of depends on like what the definition of like being friendly is though. So but you wouldn't have any problems with Japanese people in my opinion. And thank you, Alan Dutra. What do you watch to relieve stress? I don't really watch things. I just do things. I usually just like play like table tennis, like Tetris or something. I don't know. Well, like I just do things usually. 海外で建前のことないのでみんなフレンドリーと思う。いやだから海外の方がね実際フレンドリーだと思うんだよな俺は。From my experience, Americans are more friendly, but they are more rude. Japanese people are less friendly, but they are freaking polite. So they are nice, but they don't really fit in the definition of like being friendly. So, in my opinion.
The misconception that Japan was futuristic. There was a
I remember that black girl in Japan got spit on. Don't be like her, baka. What? But one thing I have to mention is like, so you might experience something bad in Japan, but it's something like you experience like in other places as well. So like, if it happens in Japan, it can also happen in other places. Honestly, I mean, I met some crazy people in Japan too. I met some like insane people here. It's kind of how it is in the world. So if you give Japanese people proper respect, then less problems. But we don't need to open up our lives just because we are in Japan. True that, yeah. And Ryozen Read channel VTuber, thank you. I think as you mind your social manners in public, it shouldn't be an issue. Yes, if you follow what other people do, if you don't break any rules, if you just like live your life as you were supposed to do, then you wouldn't have any problems like me. I actually never got into any trouble because I actually follow rules and stuff. I act like I don't, but I do. Like when I'm like out character basically. And Zabdiel Aragon, thank you. I recently discovered your channel thanks to the ass breaker video. You're the man, keep it up. Saludos desde Mexico. Thank you so much for the donation. You mean the ass blasted one? But thank you so much for the donation. And Nitty Missy, from my experience as gaijin, people are not as friendly, meaning approachable, conversable in Japan as in the States. People are definitely more friendly in the States. Like, so I visited America once before, right? Yeah, it was easy to talk to people, and it was easy to make friends there, and it was easy to be friends with people because there's no such thing as keigo, like honorifics, like polite language there, and you have to be friendly in the States. You don't have to be polite as in like Japanese polite, like a Japanese person, right? And thank you, Hide My Soul. The pussy soccer player is a pro from Australia. Choco beat by the cat on Instagram. Thank you so much for the donation. Did you actually share your Instagram ID? Like, thank you so much for the donation. I don't know. You were just funny to me. I don't care about other people's business in general.
There's another one that I saw time and again that actually kind of took me by surprise at first, and that was the misconception that everyone in Japan is friendly. And I thought about it for a little bit, and then I realised, yes, there is an element of truth in that. Now, you're probably thinking, what are you on about? You awful man, you're just bitter. Bitter that nobody eats at your godforsaken ramen shop. And yes, I am bitter. Especially given how busy the ramen shop next door is. Look at them over there, having fun. Rammed full of customers, bastards. But it's essential at this point to differentiate between politeness and friendliness. I don't think there can be much doubt that Japan...
Still, isn't there a difference between rural versus urban settings though? Like, I think it's likelier in cities anywhere that people will ignore you if you try to get friendly. Still, true that. But the difference like that is the same in any countries, right? It's the same in America as well. Like, in the city, people will be distant, like, in terms of their like, how do I explain this? In terms of like their penis. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is like it's the same everywhere, right? In Japan, it's more hardcore. So yes, it's like that everywhere, but in Japan, even with that, it's more hardcore. そう。基本的にそらさんは他人に迷惑はかけない、キモいだけことだけしてる。実際結局まあ日本語がある人だけに言っちゃうとあれですけど、結局こういうチャンネルやるにつれて、なんて言うんだろうな、みんななんか変なことをしてほしいっていう希望を持ってるんですよね、自分のチャンネルに対する。それにそぐうことはするべきだなと思ってるんですけど、だからといって問題を起こすのは迷惑系 YouTuber としか変わらないので、そこのけじま持ってた方がいいなと思いますけどね。そこを超える人たまにいるけど、だからとりあえずなんか知らない人に攻撃してみとか言ってる人いるけど、それはだからまた別問題だということで、ただキモいだけだったら自分だけキモいで終わるからいいんですけど、他の人を巻き込んでキモいことをするのは、それはいい循環をもたらしてるかっていうと全くそうではないので、キモさにもいろんな種類があるんですよね。一人でキモいことやっててキモいのか、他人にキモいことをしてるから本当キモいから近寄らないでほしいのか、いろいろあるじゃないですか。そこの違いはまあ理解した方がいいと思うんですよね。やっぱりみんな他の YouTuber を見てて思うけど、なんかいるじゃないですか。なんかよくわかんないことを外でやってみんなの反応を見るとか、あれは結局そういうのを求めてない人が見たらどうなるかってことですよね。っていうこと。そこのバランスは取るべきではある。で結局外でキモいことをするのは構わないけど、それは他の人にどういう影響を与えてるかっていうのはね、考えてやんないとダメだなと思いますよ。一人でキモいことをやるんだったら別にみんなにキモいって言われて終わりなんでいいんですけどね。And Paul S. Rawbar, thank you. I also discovered your channel literally yesterday from the Ass Earth video. Love your stuff. Wish I found you years ago, but glad to be here. Thank you so much for the donation. I really didn't know like you just found my channel yesterday. I felt like you've been there for a while, but I had a difficult time, like I had a hard time like pronouncing your name. So 今もそういった迷惑 YouTuber いるんだ、知らなかったよ。たくさんいますよ。なんか外で何々してみたとか、海外 YouTuber もそうですけど、基本的に自分のチャンネル、まあキモいことしまくってるのはそうですけど、自分の中で完結するようにしてますね。これをやることによって自分がキモいのか、他人が本当に嫌になるのかどっちかなって考えて、他人が自分のことを見て嫌な気分になるんだったら、それはもうその人がしょうがないってことですけど、その人に危害がいくことによって自分がキモくなってるのはやばいですよ。まあ有名なヘズマリュウさんとかいますけど、あれはあんまり自分良くないと思ってて、あれは他の人の行動になんか支障をきたしてるというか、あれはキモいじゃなくて法律にかかるんで普通に。And thank you, as you were speaking anime a lot today. Why are you talking about anime? Do you like anime? Well, thank you so much for the donation.
Japan is quite possibly.
確かに日本語うまい。Your Japanese is good. Thank you so much for telling me that my Japanese is good. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of anime, and I have to do this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I've been watching a lot of anime, and like, oh my gosh, I've been watching Attack on Titan, and Sasuke senpai, oh, that's Naruto, I'm sorry, like, oh my gosh, Rasengan! And I've been, like, taking a lot of lessons on Duolingo, and oh my gosh, I just passed my whatever test that was, and I got an A+, oh my gosh.
I do acting for a living, right? So I'm kind of used to doing this. 日本語意外と上手じゃん。いやまあ日本語めっちゃ勉強したんでやっぱり。日本人で日本生まれですし、ずっと日本にいますけど、まあ日本語めっちゃ勉強したんでやっぱり。アニメ見て、ナルトめっちゃ見たんでやっぱり。まあ全部適当に言ってますが今。
Like culture on Earth.
Unfortunately, there are people who are exactly like that. No, yeah. I mean, I'm Japanese and I'm the one like who kind of experienced that more than other people because they literally come up to me and they literally tell me how much they love Naruto. they literally tell me how much they love Naruto and Attack on Titan. It's the same everywhere. So there are two people. So basically to two different types of people, right? So type 1, they love Naruto and like Attack on Titan, and they like to say senpai desu, right? Type 2 is like they basically hate type 1, but they are still weebs, and they usually watch some underground anime, something like whatever. I don't really know like what anime they watch, and they say like, oh, Naruto is bad, whatever is bad, but they still talk like a weeb, and they go like, this anime is good. If you talk shit about this anime, then I will kill you, whatever like that. So I mean, for me, they are both hilarious. I mean, it's not that they are doing anything wrong. It's not that they are doing anything illegal. So it's just whatever to me, though. But still, it's funny to me.
The etiquette and protocol embedded in
I
every.
think it's Solar Daisy. Do all Japanese people love Naruto? No, my mom loves Naruto. So, yeah, my mom loves Naruto. Yeah.
Interaction borderlines on the extreme. Over the years, I've heard countless stories from tourists who have been lost walking around Japan, and a stranger comes and helps them and politely comes to their aid. I mean, I remember once I was lost in the mountains of Takayama, beautiful city. I was trying to find my hotel and
Takayama? Well, where's Takayama? Takayama ってどこ? Gifu. Hey, I want to go there actually. That looks great. No? Takayama. Hey. Korean house. Why are you talking about Korean house? 高山を知らんとはやっぱ自分日本人じゃないんで、自分やっぱりナルト好きなんで、やっぱりなんだ進撃の巨人見てるんで、高山って有名なんだ。やべえ、日本人じゃないのバレちゃう。リアルに高山って初めて知った。
I asked a shopkeeper, like, excuse me, do you know how to find this hotel? And they got out like a piece of paper and painstakingly drew a map that even then I failed to comprehend. And at this point, they basically shut down their entire shop and personally escorted me round the streets of Takayama to get to my hotel. I felt an immense sense of guilt, and they were like, no, think nothing of it. No.
観光好きでないと知らない人多いでしょっていうじゃないですか。意外とっすよ。こういう情報って日本の人みんな知らなきゃいけないみたいなことが多くて、例えば奈良ってみんな知ってるじゃないですか。割とそんなレベルの可能性があるんだよな。で、自分結構そういうのに疎いから地名とか結構情報飛んでんですよね。っていう可能性があるので、そこがちょっと。
Nothing at all. You know, it's a very polite and selfless gesture in the face of a complete dickhead tourist. So you can expect to have these sort of interactions and walk into a bar and meet some locals who will ask you where you're from, what you're doing, you'll have a drink, it'll be great. But simply put, while you'll experience politeness and...
Do you feel like Chris has gone to places that even most Japanese people didn't know exist? Maybe, yeah. And definitely. So if I wanted to know, like, if I just wanted to see some amazing places in Japan, like, abroad in Japan is like one of the channels I watch. そう、その山は知ってるんですけど、飛騨高山ですよね、こう読み方。合ってるかな？飛騨高山でしたっけ？飛騨高山じゃなかったら俺もう日本人やめますわ。飛騨高山っすよね、これ。待って、飛騨高山だよね、これね。飛騨高山だよね。オッケーだよな。それは知ってます。さすがに。
hospitality on a surface level.
危ねえ、日本人やめるとこだった。危ねえ。Oh, hey, what's up? Nude HDXYZ, best adult dating site. Nice faces, but everybody, I mean, you know, everybody here knows you're a bot, and I'm a virgin. Who cares about your adult dating site? I'm a virgin, which means nobody cares about your comment because I'm a virgin and we know you're a bot. Oh, you got deleted! Ah! Again, I'm a virgin and everybody here is a weeb. Everybody here only watches anime. They don't care about your dating website. People here are not interested in getting laid. They only watch anime and I'm a virgin. Thank you, Paul S. Roar. Bye. Mod the bot. If I do that, then like, yeah, the bot will freaking do something crazy, so I'm not gonna do that. But so, さ、二次元じゃない都市の方がいいよ。それはガチすぎる。We'll only go if there's anime. We'll only go if there's anime there. Did you hear that, bots? say, instead of like freaking this dating website is amazing, just freaking say something like we got free anime here. Then we might click on your profile. Instead of saying hot grills, hot boys, sex free. We don't like that. We only care about 2D waifus. Learn to watch anime. I think I just like roasted him like super hard.
It's very hard to go beyond that, to genuinely befriend someone here and get to know them beyond those sort of simple, polite interactions. They're often over very quickly. The amount of foreigners I know, for example, who live in Tokyo and don't have a single
You know what though? Wait. I just came up with an idea. So there's like this one place called Funabashi in my area. Funabashi is like, so if you go there, there will be like a lot of freaking like people try to get you to go to like their brothel, right? Saying like, hey, we got some hot girls. Are you interested in, you know, stuff, like sexual stuff? I want to go there and say something like, oh, but I'm only into anime girls, and see like what they will tell me. I want to do that. But I'm only interested in anime girls. キャッチ、いや本当にキャッチの人に絡まれた時に、いや俺二次元にしか興味ないんだよつって。Do you mean like maid cafes? No, like actual brothels. Actual brothels. I'm just curious like what they all told me. Yeah, sorry, but I only watch anime. 僕二次元にしか興味ないんですよ、それ。I'm only interested in anime girls. その前にそれさんキャッチに捕まれたらめっちゃ捕まりますよ。やばいっすよ、マジで。すごいっすよ。そんなに俺そういうのに興味あるように見えると思って。やば、もう一瞬っすもん。で、基本多分なんかオタクっぽい歩き方をしてるんでしょうかね、やっぱり。すごいっすもん、東京とか行くと、もう速攻で来る。なんか、お兄ちゃんっつって。もう速攻、もう3秒に1回、本当に。まあ多分リアルな話、なんか俺、田舎者っぽい格好してるから、YouTube 外だと特に。なんかやりやすそうなんでしょうね、多分。あいついいターゲットだって思われてるんでしょうね、リアルな話。
Japanese friend is astonishing. Now I don't think it's the Japanese.
面白そうだけど撮影されたくないでしょ。だからまあ自分だけ撮るようにしてっていう感じ。相手の声だけちょっと入っちゃうけどって感じするか。でもそういうエリアってヤクザが管轄持ってるから危ねえんだよな。ちょっと気をつけないとな。ケツ持ちが来た場合ちょっとめんどくさいんで。And thank you, S. An elderly Japanese lady got lost when transferring trains and asked me if I knew where the other station was. I escorted her to it. She asked me lots of questions. Felt like the Twilight Zone. You are obviously an American and people in Japan asked you where, like, things are in Japan? She probably had a crush on you or something. Warumono, Kurenai, thank you so much for the donation. Haha, do it. Show us how weird you can get. I mean, if you want me to be super weird, I can do pretty much anything. But thank you. And Colin Clary, possible collab with MMA fighter Mikuru Asakura. Asakura Mikuru-san, I want to collab with him, but he doesn't care about me, for sure. Asakura Mikuru is like something like, I actually respect him as a YouTuber, even as a fighter. I mean, I kind of do some martial arts and stuff, but yeah, I want to see him though, but he doesn't care about me for sure, so yeah.
These people are inherently unfriendly. Maybe they just don't like me. Maybe they just don't want to be friends with me. But honestly, I think it's just...
Chris Broad is for sure really popular in Japan. I'm pretty sure he got a lot of chicks and he's gotten laid so many times. I even said like if I were a girl I would go after him and I would freaking stalk him. What, you did the martial arts? I did boxing, martial arts and whatever for like 10 something years, yes. And thank you Tales of Mildus. Who's your favorite VTuber? I don't really watch VTubers. I like this VTuber called Dogu. Yeah, he got cancelled because like people. So yeah, this guy basically started like his VTuber channel, right? And he was using this like dog avatar, and he was streaming for a while, but he was actually cringy, right? And people started calling him like cringe, and people told him to like quit being cringy. And yeah, he got offended and he freaking disappeared. Like after just like one stream, I guess. Like that's just what happened to him. It was freaking hilarious. He streamed like for like only like 30 minutes and he rage quit because people called him like cringe. Like he's my favorite VTuber, basically. And yes, Chris Broad is for sure, he's popular and he's had a lot of, he has like a lot of friends, and probably he wants to, it's not he wants to, but a lot of girls want to sleep with him. Like I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of girls because yeah, only one stream. Yes.
Aspects of the culture that sort of act as barriers to really get.
Do you know CDWV, C-Dog VA? Yeah, I know about him, yeah. It's not that I've talked to him, but yes, I know about him, and he knows about me too, thankfully.
To know someone. Japan is classed as a high uncertainty avoidance culture. In short, situations that involve uncertainty are generally avoided where possible. People don't like spontaneity and unpredictability, and in some respects that's why things are so damn reliable. With that in mind, you can walk around a Japanese city for hours on end and no one will say hello or make the first move, and it's a big reason why many people here come across as shy. And honestly, if you're an introvert, you'll love it as people keep to themselves, and so can you.
If you're an extrovert who wants a lot of friends, yeah, Japan is not the place. It might be. If you're not Japanese, and if you want attention, yeah, because people will give you attention. People will freaking stare at you everywhere. So you might like living in Japan, or you might also like the life here in Japan as an introvert. Because people will not give a damn about you. Sheesh, I'm Asian. なるちゃんは多分ね、日本に来てもね、みんなね、なるちゃんのこと日本人だと思うよ、リアルに。多分日本人か、なんか海外に長くいた日本人だと思う、多分帰国子女だと思うと。多分なるちゃんはね、普通に日本人としての生活をして終わりそうなイメージ。
But on the flip side, it can make
多分リアルな話、日本に住んだとして、外人扱いされねえんじゃないかな。多分みんな、日本人じゃないのっていうのも。
feel awfully lonely at times. Another factor
からルールとか知らなかったりしたときになんか失礼な人だと思われるかもね。失礼な人とかなんだろうなんかバカな人って思われるかもしれない。なんでかっていうと日本人じゃないのにみんな日本人だと思うからそういうなんかさあるじゃん。誰も話さないルールとかそれをみんななんかねなるちゃんもできると思い込むわけよ。でやっぱ知らないものとかって間違ってしちゃったりした時になんか失礼な人って思ってくるかもしれない。それはある。そういう人を見たことはある。だからちょっとそういうのに今出会った時にうわ日本ってクソだって思うことがあるかもしれないのはまああるかもねっていうのは。
on why it's hard to actually break through and get to know someone is the strong
外人という用語がやばい。外人って別にだって失礼ではないですよ。外国人のだって短縮語なので。でも公共の場で外人って言葉を使うなとは言われますよね。なんでかっていうと結局カジュアルすぎる言葉って何でもそういうシチュエーションで言ったらダメっていうのが結構基本なので、例えばねわかんないって言わないでわからないって言うべきみたいな感じで、その短縮系の言葉って公共の場で言うべきじゃないってやつですね。And thank you Black Sheep. Look up Awesome World Channel as they have girls' school uniform differences. Articulated. Thank you so much for the donation. 言葉ができない。そう、言っちゃいけない言葉っていうのを考えたときに、それはしっかり明確にダメな意味を含めてんのかって考えるのはまあいいかなと思ってて、短縮語が確かにまあそういうビジネスのね現場とかで使っちゃいけないっていうのは分かるんですよ。まあそういうのはルールだから。けど一般的にダメかって言われるとそうでもないんじゃないかなと思いますけどね。自分は。分かりませんって使えば避けられるのかな。いや分かりませんって言ったら結局なんかじゃあこの人バカなんだって思われちゃう。多分なるちゃんの見た目的にも話し方的にも絶対にみんな日本人と思うから、知らないんだこの人じゃあそういうの勉強してこなかったんだ、じゃあこの人バカだって思っちゃうのはあると思う。多分それで日本人めんどくせえって思っちゃうのはね、多分一回経験してんじゃない？なんだかんだ言ってどうだろうね。多分日本に来て日本人と一緒に住んでみたら多分そういうことを経験すると思うよ。多分なんか子って礼儀とか正しくないよねって言われるかも。まあそういうのって日本人にしか分かんないことだからね。そう日本人じゃなきゃしょうがないんだけど、なるちゃんみたいなパターンは多分思われちゃうからね。多分
emphasis on keeping your thoughts and opinions to yourself. And obviously we have this concept as well back home, being polite, keeping your thoughts up here. But the concept is very strong in Japan, so much so that there's two words to define it, hone and tatemae.
You guys know what hone and tatemae are, right? I explained it in my video, in my recent video, so. But this is a thing everywhere though, by the way. It's not like a Japanese thing, by the way. It's a thing everywhere. It's just like, you don't tell people what you were thinking about, like straight up. You don't say like, oh, this food sucks. But instead of like saying that, you just say like, oh, this food is amazing. But in reality, you were thinking like, oh, this sucks. So. And Paulus Roar Bar, thank you. Learn Japanese with Swirl Troll. You shouldn't learn Japanese with me, like on my channel. Like, my channel is the worst channel out there where you can learn Japanese. Like, seriously, don't learn anything from my channel. But my channel is just like for meme purposes. This is a channel filled with stupidity. And this is a channel where nothing makes sense. So, like, seriously, don't learn anything from my channel. It's actually bad.
Tatemae is kind of your public stance on something, right? Where you just say things to keep up appearances, keep the harmony, keep the peace, and avoid giving any real opinions. NFT, non-fungible token. Wow, that sounds really interesting, actually.
Taurus, thank you. Source say Yankul Mathuwu Pintuwu, please. Yankul Mathuwu Pintuwu.
I always thought it. NFT.
And hone is what they're actually thinking, their real intention. And
He said it wrong. Wait, what?
I always thought it. NFT.
And hone is what they're...
Wait. Right! In English, like, they are the same thing! Wait. That's what English-speaking people say, yeah! Honne and tatemae. Honne, right? Honne. Wait.
They're actually...
Really interesting, actually. NFT, non-fungible token. Wow, that sounds really interesting, actually. I always thought it. NFT.
And hone is...
Thank you, Black Sheep. Okitama desu. Ah, Okitama. Thank you so much for the donation. Alright. Let me explain like what sounded wrong to me. I mean, it's not really wrong though, because like it's just how he speaks Japanese, right? TLDR, he said that they're gonna treat me as a baka Nihonjin because I look too Nihonjin. It's not that you look Nihonjin, but you act like one, and how you speak Japanese is like really close to Japanese, like how Japanese people speak Japanese. Like, it's almost impossible to know that you're not Japanese, or I forgot what I wanted to say, but it's more like it's impossible to know that you're not Japanese if you ever live in Japan, right? So people will, and like obviously you didn't grow up in Japan, so like there are some like unspoken rules like you don't know about Japan, so, and people will just pick up on that, and people will be like, oh, you're rude, you don't do this, you don't do this, so you must be stupid. Boom, boom. Is something you might experience in Japan if you ever live in Japan. So that's when you might like start hating on Japan, thinking like, oh, Japanese people are savage. But yeah, I don't know. So it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, because people wouldn't treat you like a gaijin, right? So you can definitely fit in Japan. You can fit in Japan. So you can feel like there are no walls between you and other Japanese people. But at the same time, you also have to know everything about Japan to know like what are, you know, what cannot be done, what cannot be done, and what can be done. So it could be hard for you. And so yeah,
is what they're
That's really interesting, actually. I always thought it. NFT.
And hone is...
So hone honne and hone, those two words are different. Honne is like honne, like what you actually think of, what you actually are thinking about. Hone is bones and your true like opinions. Yeah, so 本音, there are like 3 syllables in Japan, in Japanese. 本音, like 本音. Like 本音. Probably I should write it like this. And 本 is like, yeah. And thank you, Ryozen Reed, channel VTuber. What's your take on lots of big YouTubers moving to Japan? It's been a trend lately to move to Japan. I noticed it too. I mean, honestly though, Japan is definitely a good place to live, for sure. Like, I've seen a lot of like friends started living in Japan as well. They say Japan is not a country to visit, but Japan is a country to live. It's like what they say. Because it's actually kind of cheap to live here. And the crime rate is like insanely low. And if you know how to utilize your gaijin perks, you actually get some good deals here. So there are, of course, like there are some bad things about being in Japan, living in Japan as a foreigner, but still there are also like a lot of good things, and that's kind of why they decided to move here. But a lot of them are weeps, so he just doesn't use Japanese pronunciation when speaking English, mate. Same way if you were talking to a Japanese mate, you'd probably say Shidoni rather than Sydney. I kind of doubt it in his case, because yeah, in this case I kind of doubt it. I know what you mean though, and I know like what a lot of like people do, but in his case I doubt that, because I know how he speaks Japanese. But, and man of the culture, thank you. I think foreigners have a hard time with the syllable timing, because in Japanese it's important, but in most European languages just dialect. So thank you so much for the donation. Let me explain the difference between English and Japanese. So here, in English, so this is konnichiwa, right? But in English, people say konnichiwa. Andあとはなんだろうな。あ、ニンニク、そうニンニクとかね。ニンニク is like a garlic, right? ニンニク but English speaking people usually say like ニンニク not 肉 ニンニク The reason here is English speaking people tend to just get rid of like this sound. So こんにちは is actually こんにちは probably this. Oh, 店員とかね、そう店員shop stuff, right? So 店員 they usually say like tanning. ニンニクって初めて聞いたとき、そうね、ニンニクと tanning こんにちは So if you see like two N's like this in Japanese, you are supposed to pronounce it like tanning the sound, yeah, like Hong Kong, like Hong Kong, right? That N sound is like what you need to make it sound good. But after all, you don't have to worry about it, because like, I mean, it's how you speak Japanese, and you don't really have to follow like what Japanese people do 100%. But I'm just like, you know, pointing out that's just how we say it. But again, it's not that you'll die if you don't follow this way. So if you just want to speak Japanese in your own way, do it, and we'll be fine. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I have this like one Nepalese friend who freaking speaks with a heavy Nepalese accent, like it's actually hardcore. But still, he lives in Japan and he doesn't have any problems, and he's actually quite successful. So I mean, and man of culture, I think foreigners have a hard time with the. I think I read this, and Tales of Malthus. Why is English speech in anime so bad? No demand. Why is English speech in anime so bad? No demand. If you're talking about like anime characters like trying to speak English, it's because Japanese people are bad at English. But if I were to talk about this, I need like 2 more hours, so I'm not gonna talk about it. If you're talking about the dubbed version, I don't know. Andrew, thank you so much for the donation. Are Japanese people more polite? Yes. Maybe more friendly. Maybe not, yeah. But they sure seem visibly relieved when you tell them that 日本語で大丈夫です. Yeah, so like, if you speak Japanese, they will suddenly be like, they will be like suddenly really friendly to you, suddenly. アニメ英語はただカタカナで喋ってるだけじゃないの。いや、なんかね、それっぽく聞こえてるけど逆に何言ってるか分かんないのって結構あって、YouTube で見るとめちゃくちゃネタにされてるんですよね。自分も同じようなネタ結構やってるじゃないですか。ああいうのって結構そこに需要があるから、自分のチャンネルでもやってるんですけど、確かにそれっぽくやろうとして変なこと言ってるっていうのはよくありますね。And poop poopy. Thank you so much for the donation. うんち好きですか? Do you like poop? Yes.
What they're actually thinking, their real intention. And unless you're on very good terms with someone, you often won't find out what that is, what they really think. Although one life hack...
Thank you, Paulus, Robai. 日本語上手. Your Japanese is good. Thank you.
One way to get around that is just to get them drunk, and then you can find out like, straight away what they really think.
NFTs, humanity's finished, non-fungible bollocks, what a crap.
Options are first one.
でも言語勉強したらネイティブの話し方フォローしないといけないですね。個人的にと思うけど美しいから。だけど結局だから so I mean so you know Grace yeah what she just said here is like but still like we have to follow like how native speakers like you know speak because it's more beautiful that way. I guess, but this is the same like in any languages as well, and it's the same in Japanese as well. But you might think it's more beautiful, like it sounds cooler to sound like a person who's fluent in the language, right? Like so for example, like if you sound Japanese when you are speaking Japanese, like you might think it's cool. But at the same time, from my perspective, it could sound kind of great when you sound like a foreigner as well. 声の収録でたまにイングリッシュでわざとらしく喋ると言われますね。それもあるだろうし。So, I mean, it's the same in English as well, right? I mean, there are a lot of like different accents and people think like some accents are cute, some accents are bad. Strong accent is bad. It's not really bad though, by the way. I can show you something. Ready? Judy Shinohara. But I feel like you are Japanese, like you are half Japanese because of your name. So I don't really think this is gonna work for you, but when I do this, people think it's cute. Ready? I have a question, everybody. If I speak English like this, is it ugly? Or do you think this is cute? I'm curious because this is how Japanese people speak English, right? Very ugly. Let me take a poll, okay? So, what do you think of my accent? Is this cute or ugly? Because this is really heavy. This accent is heavy, right? But people usually think it's cute. See? So, it's kind of like this. It doesn't matter whether the accent is heavy or not. It's more like how you speak it. Option 3, cringe. I mean, people are gonna say I'm cringe, so yeah. So it's not like how like what accent you have, it's more like how you speak the language. So if you have an accent speaking like languages, you shouldn't worry about it that much though. It's the same for like, you know, speaking Japanese. Like you don't have to worry about sounding super fluent. You have to let me tell you something important. People just tend to worry about like how fluent they are. like how fluent they sound when speaking Japanese. But a lot of people seem to not worry about what things they say, which is something you should focus more on. Like, honestly, you should focus on what to say and what not to say more than how fluent you sound. There are so many people who talk about some things like they shouldn't talk about while trying to sound fluent. That's actually a lot more cringe to me. And thank you, Tales of Maltos. Are there no English VAs in Japan? There are a lot of them, yes. So some people straight up block you out if you've got an accent. It's the same everywhere, though. By the way, it's the same everywhere, and it's just like those people are savage and those people are close-minded. They are everywhere. I experienced it myself as well, in a lot of like different, not countries, but like with a lot of different people. Yes, it's the same everywhere. But you should focus on like what to say the more than your accent, honestly. Are you talking about something cringy? Like, are you talking about something actually, good? Right? Why? It's just how it is. And I think I've been streaming for like 3 hours, so I have to get off soon. So, goddamn. It was a long one, right? Mannerisms really help. Yeah, so like you have to know manners and rules. Like that's more important than how fluent you sound. Like that's whatever. I mean, after all, no matter how fluent you sound, if you're not Japanese, there's gonna be this wall either way. So it doesn't matter. Like if you're foreign, then you are gonna be a foreigner like forever. Isn't it better to sound natural with an accent compared to trying too hard to sound fluent? It's better to worry about what you say rather than how fluent you sound. From my experience, like people seriously don't care how fluent you sound. People care about what you say, what kind of things you say, what words you use, what you talk about. And Paul S. Robot, thank you so much. Thank you, loved in the stream. Thank you so much for that. There are so many people who care about how fluent they sound while talking about anime. Like this, exactly. Leave and X, do you like anime? Yes, I like anime. Thank you so much. And S, thank you for the donation. So does Confession. Is it like I like anime thing?
I'm a virgin.
Okay, yeah, I am. So, you know what I said? What I'm talking about though? So like you should just definitely worry about what you are talking about rather than like how fluent you sound, how accurate your accent is. Like it's seriously whatever, because you're gonna be you are a foreigner, like no matter what. So there's gonna be this like wall either way. The same for like a lot of people like freaking. You know what though? There are a lot of like Japanese Americans like born and raised in America, as in the States, but still they are treated like Japanese people. It's kind of like that. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like how it goes. So I mean, why not then just worry about what you say more than like what accent you have and whatever, right? And Luke Favis, thank you. Don't learn anything from this channel. This channel is the worst. Also sort of gives legitimately good advice about what people should focus on learning. I mean, it's just like what I'm talking about from my experience. And the thing about my channel is like, you really shouldn't take seriously on this channel because I troll a lot too at the same time. I mean, sometimes maybe you can try to learn some things from my channel, but after all, look at my channel name, right? Why not watch the whole clip? Because it's probably cringy, right? Isn't it?
I'm a virgin, which means nobody cares about your comment because I'm a virgin.
I mean... Ah! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thanks for today. Thank you so much for the donation remedies. Thank you. What do Japanese people think of Japanese Americans? I've always wondered. Japanese people think Japanese Americans are cool because like they can be American then they can be Japanese both. So like a lot of people in Japan are jealous about Japanese Americans because like people in Japan think Japanese Americans can just change their nationality like instantly. If they want to be Japanese, they can be Japanese. If they want to be American, then they can. But in fact, they can't. They have to like pick one of them. So they consider themselves as like Americans. So people in Japan think like they are both, but it's not really like they are both. But yeah. Anyways, let me just try to read comments for like 3 more minutes, and then after that I'm gonna get off and play Naruto Shippuden VR whatever thing, because I'm a weeb. これから聞き取れるようになりますよ、多分。あんま日本語、まあ今回はでも結構難しいこと言ってたからな。That. So like what you say is like more important than like how fluent you sound. Matt versus Japan, his Japanese is like insanely great. To the point like where some people probably might think he grew up in Japan, but still, yeah. Not yet, but yeah, I mean there are some things I want to do now. Maybe. I got some work to do, but I kinda got it done. I got everything done. It's called I Don't Have a Life. Search Thriller Troll, I Don't Have a Life. There are some, but they are quite rare. It's insanely rare though. Tell me like what onsen that is. It's quite rare. You really cannot find like a lot of them. Like let's say there are like 10 like onsens in one city, right? Probably one of them allows foreigners with like tattoos, but other than that, it's almost impossible. And thank you, Ryozen Reed. Great stream. To be honest, your videos are so relatable for us who are half and who stayed in Japan. Really shows that Japan is an anime land and has its own beauty. Kissa, love you, senpai, love you too. Thank you so much for the donation. How do you stay motivated to make videos? Yeah, so like making videos like consistently on YouTube is like definitely hard, right? In my case, I just like think about what people want to watch, right? And I just want to like I just have to meet their expectations, or like I feel like I have to do something for them to just meet the expectations. Like there's like this balance. Did you get a life since moving to this new house? I think I've been the same. I think I have more life, yeah. But I think I've been the same. I still consider myself as a voice actor, voiceover artist, more than like a YouTuber. Cause it's hot. Not sure. Yes, thank you. Some onsen allow tattoos, but only for foreigners. Yes, they do. I want to! Koheikyo onsen? Huh. Stream a workout, please.
Oh, you know what? I want to do that one thing, and I'm gonna get out after that. Yay! I just wanted to do it because I got a soundproof room, so I can do more of this. Woo!
People keep telling me I need to be a voice actor. If you want to be one, then you can, but sounding different doesn't mean you can be one. If you want to be a voice actor, you really have to be good at like running a business. It's the same thing. How are you gonna promote yourself? How are you gonna, be different from like other voice actors? 引っ越したんですか? はい、先月ですね。So people might tell you like, oh, you should be a voice actor because you sound different. But in reality, you have to know how to promote yourself. And if you can do that, you can just basically do anything. What? You promote yourself with OnlyFans, man. That works too. In my case, YouTube definitely helped me a lot. Do VA have Asian? Some do. Yes, I don't, but some do. I'm stuttering suddenly, but I hear tell me I'm fighting now to change my mind. I'm shivering suddenly, but can I believe they don't scare me? The point I to be. That's why you said, here we are. The colors are whitened. They've been changing since that day when they threw away what they had. だから笑いその色を変えたミスター10年前に見たいなとはいつもいつかないけどもなお Stuck in the middle thinking what I could have done. It used to be so dark, but now it is so bright. 僕たちが見た今のパレード昔と比べて明るさ増した S, thank you, Cringe Lloyd Guitar. 2-hander, plus 30 minutes to live streams. 5 durability to hands. 100 to Cringe Meter. Thank you so much for the donation. And thank you, Paulus. Roar bye. Thank you so much for the donation. I want to do something cringy. Do Sento allow tattoos? Not usually, no. I'm gonna make a song with like comments. Ready? Lean, 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 lean. Wait, what? Where's the key? Wait. I'm so lonely. Fuck my ass. I'm sorry. Oh. Omri Ben, I think I really like your singing, so here's some money. Thank you so much for the donation. Did you gain your... I realized my ex was not my ex-girlfriend. I'm a virgin, I like anime. Can I have cheese curtain? I'm a no-lifer, wait. I'm a gay alpaca. I like train. Both touch grass. The fuck am I doing? The fuck am I? Notice me so I don't wash my shirt. I actually do, by the way. I do. That once meant that wasn't me. Yo, I was arrested for being cringe. I ate sushi. Please go out with me. So proud to be GQ. Shop at Uniqlo. I eat puppy. I'm so depressed. I need to stop making baby jokes. Goodbye って曲すごく好きです。Methodical boost. What do you think of India? What do you think of India? What do you think of India? Do you like anime? I'm seriously like, do you like anime and what do you think of India? Like those two phrases have to be like the biggest like meme ever in 2022. What do you think of cheese gyudon? I've never had it. I want to have it now. So are you gay? Yeah, I am. Let me actually sing something and get off after that. Which one? Now I am done. Time to be insecure. Wrong eye steps for my day. Just you were the one who tried to stop me. You gave me the light from the
the skies. The stars have seen us being there. Now you are the one. I need your light. Whoa, stay beside me. For now I don't care because you're king. Yeah, I will make it because I have the power. Oh, to move you, make you feel well. Now I am stuck right here again. I don't know, I might need your long night. You light me up, you are the reason why I have been insane. For now I don't care because you're king. So yeah, I will make it because I have the power. Oh, to move you, to make you feel well. Today I'm fuck my ass. Alright, I want to watch anime. I'm gonna watch Naruto because I'm a weeb. I'm gonna watch Attack on Titan and I'm gonna watch Naruto. So thank you so much for coming to the stream, everybody. I really have to get off because I want to watch Naruto. So thank you so much. I just went out to eat lunch and he was still streaming. Yeah, I'm gonna get off now because I want to watch Naruto. So thank you so much for coming to the stream, everybody. I'm gonna go watch Naruto. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. I will see you on Sunday at 12 p.m. in Japan time again. I'm gonna watch anime. Yes, I'm a weeb. Bye bye.